Yeah. Yeah. This internet different. People losing peace, losing sleep, losing themselves. And some folks turn pain into content. Sad little game. Fetch, throw my bone, now the whole pack's stirring. Whole chat room alive, all the timelines turning. Throw my bone, now they swear they bold. Till them legal letters make the whole vibe cold. Shame, shame, shame. What a gang, gang, gang. Everybody hungry for a quick little flame. Selling out they soul, just to mention a name. Look at them, yeah. I toss one crumb and the circus awake. Same folks lurking every move I make. Views look tight, so they reach for a bait. Then disguise obsession, that's commentate. Funny, y'all don't care who pushed to the brink. Long as outrage trend and the numbers still blink. People taking losses left, right, every week. But compassion disappear when attention peak. That's pitiful. Whole panels gossiping night to night. Ring lights glow, but the spirit ain't right. Everybody loud to reality bite. Then suddenly everybody wanna talk healing online. Too late for the speeches. Let me hand you a mirror. Take a look real clear. Eyes tied so warm, still chasing applause from strangers every year. That's rubs. See, I go toe to toe, I ain't scared to smoke. But the law moves smoother than the loudest joke. That's the part these clowns don't really know why they stream emotions. Paperwork grow, I kept warning, kept giving grace. Kept letting things slide just in case. Now, pressure different. Everybody brave till accountability knocked. The screenshots lined up and the channel stopped. Now the same folks whispering let's all heal. After years trying to spin pain into reels. Amazing, internet courage fade real fast. When attorneys start organizing the past. Now every live stream moving tense and mad. Like maybe we should chill. Yeah, imagine that. Throw my bone, now the whole pack stirring. Whole chat room alive, all the timelines turning. Throw my bone, now they swear they bold. Till them legal letters make the whole vibe cold. Shame, shame, shame. What a gang, gang, game. Everybody hungry for a quick little flame. Selling out they soul, just to mention a name. This platform ruthless, let's call it exact. People break down publicly, folks talk it off that. Then act confused when the energy crack. Like humanity vanished behind clicks and stats. That's the sickness. And honestly, the saddest part ain't even the hate. It's the emptiness. The need to wake up every day, hoping somebody else fall apart publicly. So your own life feel louder for a minute. Couldn't be me, I build your hover. Big difference. This internet got folks spiritually starving. And every now and then I throw them a bone just to watch you come running. Every single time. Same clowns. Fetch. They thought we wasn't paying attention. They thought we wasn't paying attention. Yeah. Yo, Imani, talk your talk. Facts, facts. I came with receipts, I ain't come to play. Expose every lie, they been selling all day. Head held high, I ain't ducking no smoke. Truth hit harder when the system broke. Talk to him. I came with receipts, every file got names. Everybody loud till accountability came. We ain't moving in fear, we applying that heat. Better tighten up now, cause I brought the receipts. Let's go, let's go. See the cameras flash when the hearings start. Whole room shook when they spoke from the heart. Trying to cut me off, now I claim my time. Every interruption just exposed the crime. History long, but the memory longer. Pressure make diamonds, pressure make stronger. You can twist headlines, spin every thread. Can't rewrite facts when the truth been said. Everybody gangster behind that desk. For the numbers show the public been stressed. Families hurting while they paint pretty pictures. Meanwhile, pockets getting thin about a minute. Facts. Tell them stop capping quick gas like games. People buy eggs with a pocket full of change. You can fake statistics on a PowerPoint slide, but the checkout line don't never lie. Who gon' speak? We will. Who gon' fight? the system broke. Let's ride, let's ride. I count receipts, every file got names. Everybody loud till accountability came. We ain't moving in fair, we applying that heat. Better tighten up now. Cause I brought the receipts. Courtrooms echo, but the streets hit louder. Every bad ruling made the movement prouder. Take one vote, then we register 10. Built from the block, let the people win. Can't silence voices born from struggle. Built these dreams through pain and hustle. Grandma marched so I could speak. Now I'm 10 toes down every single week. Every chapter got another revelation. People waking up across the nation. Ain't no crime without confrontation. Truth is the spark for transformation. Wake up, ain't about left, ain't about right. It's about wrong hiding under bright lights. Question everything, don't push your names. Power belongs to the people, not the fame. If they tell you hush, if they tell you wait, move now. If they tell you quit, if they shut one door, if they shut one door, build more doors. Look. Look, I don't need permission. I was born with a mission. Every generation got a choice. I'm choosing resistance. Feel like a weapon, mic like a torch. Truth keep burning till it let the hope pour. Kingdoms fall when the people unite. Darkness disappear when they turn on the light. Ain't chasing black, I'm chasing change. Every verse another broken chain. Break it, break it, break it. Every sister standing up. Every brother finding peace. Every time watching us. Learning courage, don't decrease it, multiplies. I can't move the seats. I ain't come to play. Truth don't fold when the headlines fade. Built for the pressure, built for the fight. We keep pushing to the future, look bright. Let's go. Hands to the sky, voices repeat. Justice ain't giving, you earn every seat. From the block to the ballot, from the mic to the street. We ain't leaving till the people complete their mission. The mission facts, the movement, stand up. No fear, we brought the receipts. Truth.
They told you stay entertained, stay distracted, stay divided. I said stay dangerous. Let's go. We here. Universal.
You want the tea, you want the beef, you want the who said what? When it's time to build a life, you keep your big mouth shut. You binge watch chaos, call it keeping informed. But when it's time to grow, suddenly you're bored. Addicted to the circus, dancing for $1 bill. While they're harvesting your focus, popping every kind of pill. The trigger got you trapped, the digital lobotomy. You rattle, watch a dummy captain claim your sovereignty.
You feel it, don't you? That pressure in your chest. Don't wait, that whisper saying you were built for more than this. Breathe it in.
High frequency, we don't vibrate low. Tuck the signal noise, let the real waves grow. Wake up, stand tall, break the spell. We ain't building our minds in a digital cell.
No walls.
High frequency, crown don't tilt. Truth so heavy, make the weak ones wilt. If the numbers drop when the truth gets strong, then let them fall. We moving on.
Yeah, they call it just contend, I call it control. If it numbs your spirit, it's a tax on your soul. You're arguing in comments about a rapper, some address. Why you suffocating slowly in a world of curated stress? Hate the woman who thinks for herself, who won't chase wild, wake up, tree stealth. I'm a GoldenQueen, 10 toes down in the mud. While you're tracing like you're spilling everybody's blood. Moria!
Are you entertained or enslaved?
Choose.
Are you informed or inflamed? Think. Is the gossip worth your soul? Is it? Unplug the wire. Activate the cell. Mama Warrior told you.
High frequency, we don't vibrate low. Digital noise, let the real ones grow. Keep it up, stand tall, break the spell. We ain't building our minds in a digital cell. High frequency, crown don't tilt. Truth so heavy, make the weak ones wilt. Have a leader, few who see and rule a million sleeping sheep.
Not a sheep and I'm a queen. If the numbers drop when the truth gets loud, don't fear. Or I'd rather have the crown than a brainless crowd. Go the mud from the mud to the throne, from silence to signal. Mama Warrior, golden
Hey y'all, what's up? What's up? What's up? It's your girl Golden, and we are back with another live, y'all. You know we got to get back into the regular swing of things, and yeah, we doing it on a Friday. Happy Friday, everybody. We made it to the end of the week. But yeah, we got to pop into these politics because there's a few updates or whatnot that we wanted to bring to y'all. But what's up, everybody? How's everybody doing? It is about 12:03 p.m. here Eastern Time in the United States in the Carolinas. The sun is shining really bright. So you know what that means. I am in an excellent mood. And I hope you guys are having a wonderful day as well in whatever respectful time zones you are in, whether it's morning, afternoon, evening, or night, y'all. Happy Friday. Cheers. Cheers to the freaking weekend. But anyway, y'all, we're gonna go ahead and get to a few things, right? Before we tap into the content as far as our political coverage. Y'all know we gotta do our housekeeping. And y'all know I have none other but my lovely co-host Imani here with me. And so she will be coming up in just a moment. And of course, Mama Warrior is in the background and she also will be coming up as well to say a few things. So we got a pretty jam-packed show, y'all. But I appreciate everybody who is here and has came in to support us and check us out for today. So what's up to Asher? Asher, thank you so much for coming in. You always do. You always support. Lacey, what's up, girl? Thank you so much for coming in, supporting as well. I know you were saying you're not really feeling too well today. So I'm just hoping that, you get you some rest and whatnot and you feel a bit better. I'm glad y'all like the music. And what's up, Vampy? How you doing? Thanks for coming in and showing some love, girl, and supporting. And we'll be doing the same for you as well. And I seen your song request, girl. So don't worry. I'm gonna play that song before we end the live today. And don't let me forget, because if I forget, just remind me. I'm gonna play it for you. But if you really like the song, then I love that. I love that. And yeah, so without further ado, let me go ahead and bring Imani up to the stage. So what's up, Imani girl? How you doing? How you feeling? How you sitting? How you chilling? It is Friday, girl. What is going on? How are you?
I'm good. It's oh
It is
sorry. Oh,
Friday,
oh my
girl. What
god.
is going on? How are you?
Sorry.
It's okay. I'll be doing the same thing. I'll be having stuff playing on multiple devices. So I'll be like, yo, I gotta pause the other one.
Yeah, I'm good. It's a bit cloudy here today. It's what time is it? Oh, it's 5 minutes past 5 p.m. But I have had a good day. Yeah, just doing a few things, normal house chores. And everything's fine. Everything's fine, and I'm glad it's Friday. Yay!
Oh, yeah, it is Friday.
Yeah, so yeah, apart from that, the only thing I can say today, in the words of Maggie, and I'll go straight into the housekeeping,
Thank you, Imani.
insanity.
We let you kick it off because you kick it off the best. So go ahead. Kick off
Insanity
the
has
house.
entered
Man.
the chat. Okay. Today we're gonna address Nick the Mountain Goat. And all I can say is, what in the fatal attraction single weird female is going on with you? What is going on with you? Let's just give you a little brief summary of Nick's antics of late. Firstly, we had a situation where they made a nice long video where I said, when Scooby Doo sent legal documents to Golden, that you better make sure that when you shoot for the king, you better not miss. And these guys who know that culture, obviously never watched The Wire, translated that to mean that I was the king and Golden was my queen. Yeah? So we're having a relationship. This is where this started. Then Nick proceeded to tell everybody that Golden was so, well, she was so lonely that she had a crush on her. and was literally throwing her coochie at Nick. And Nick said, no, okay. Then she
Not me.
said,
I am
wait, wait,
so
wait.
lonely. I have nobody to call my own. Sorry.
And then when Golden was on a panel with Maggie, this it gets better. When Golden said to Lady T, my girl, Nick said to Lady T, though she doesn't mean my girl in the colloquial terms, she means my girl because she wants you. Okay? Yeah, that's why I'm saying, what in the fatal attraction single weird female is going on with you, Nick? Yeah. And then I think, what's the next one we've had? Yeah. Then she proceeds to make a song where she has Golden painting Ralph's nails. And it says nails by Golden. And this is what she translates to Golden being obsessed with her. Let me tell you something, Nick. No means no. Okay? No means no. Not only that, you're defaming someone. So you need to look at the laws where you are and in North Carolina, because you're stepping on dangerous ground now, because you're starting to get ridiculous. And you're running with a narrative that is going to get your little self in trouble, because you are not only defaming people. Not only did you insinuate that Golden and I were having, and you and Scooby Doo and Tempo and whoever else was on that stupid panel, that we're having an affair, but you're weaponizing sexuality. Yeah? Why? And you're saying that she's got a crush on you, yet you can't stop talking about her. You need a whole barrel of get right, because you're 20 years older than Golden. And look at how you're carrying on. And you go from place to place with this foolish story. Why? Why? Go through our lives. How many times does she talk about you? And see where you are walking around everywhere around the YouTube streets saying she's got a crush on you. The only crush you're going to see is the crushed ice in your drink. There are plenty of apps that you can go on, and you're starting to sound ridiculous, and you're starting to sound obsessed, and you're starting to sound really, 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 really weird. You need to sit down and sort yourself out, or we're going to start a GoFundMe to get you treatment, because this is getting out of hand. And if you were on the street face to face and you're doing that to someone who is like my niece, me and the aunties would be snatching you up and letting you know that you need to fix up, because you're stepping over the line now. You need to sort your life out. Nobody don't want you. Nobody don't care about you. Why don't you do some content that's not about Maggie or Golden? And then you top it up. Now you're including Vampy in your foolishness. Yeah? And you lot say you're not attacking black women. Don't let me start on you, because I'm being polite today. But you need to sort your life out. That's me. That's all. Oh, weirdo. Weirdos. And everything, bring everything to sex. Everything about you sex. Well, I think we should start calling you Nick the Horny Goat. You're a joke. All of you. That's me done for today.
Lovely housekeeping as always. So yeah, I'm pretty sure y'all seen, these weird things that have been happening, and yet the most recent video that someone decided to make where they were targeting three black women, right? They're targeting a trans woman who is from Trinidad or has Trinidadian roots. They were targeting an American black woman, and they were also targeting a Haitian black woman. And so to me, I just feel like, kind of looks a little suspicious, but that's up to y'all. Y'all let me know what y'all think. I think that looks a bit weird. And of course, a lot of the things that were being spoke about are some things, that Imani just touched on very heavily in her housekeeping. And we'll dig into a little bit deeper when it comes to a lot of the actions and behaviors of these people that I think is disgusting. And so when it comes to my housekeeping, let me go ahead and tell y'all what it is. Okay. Now, number one, someone has convinced themselves that I'm in love with them. And I think that that's a laugh for sure. Okay. But let's also address the more serious things that's at hand right here. I don't attack people's looks, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with being, like a lesbian. What needs to stop, I think, is people weaponizing sexuality and gender identity to spread false narratives. Both Imani and I are heterosexual women, and we are in relationships with heterosexual men. But I feel like using sexual orientation or gender identity as an insult or a smear tactic is not only completely false, but it's also deeply distasteful and disrespectful to the LGBTQIA plus community. Also, weaponizing someone's transition, especially tagging trans women, mocking their appearance, or making fun of hormone replacement therapy crosses a serious line. It's especially hypocritical when it comes from people who used to be friendly with that person, or even more surprisingly, from individuals that live within that same community itself. Trans people are already facing heavy legislative battles and losing access to essential health care, causing real distress in their daily lives. We don't know everyone's private battles, and targeted cruelty like this pushes people over the edge sometimes. It is not comedy, it is not content, and we're not going to normalize it. So, disgusting and shame on y'all, shame on you. That is how I feel about that. Also, let's just go ahead and say, if you move on from someone and you just no longer want anything to do with that person, but they can't stop talking about you, following you around, and watching everything you do we not feel as though that is kind of stalker vibes? Because it's starting to become very creepy to me, and I'm starting to feel very unsafe. So I would appreciate, really appreciate, if you can just move on with your life and let it go. Don't paint false narratives. And I guess maybe you're deflecting your feelings onto me and others. But if we're not worried about you or thinking about you, but every time we turn around, you're talking about us, who is obsessed with who? We have to use common sense here. The obsession is real and it's getting very creepy and uncomfortable. And we're saying, please quit, please stop, because there are laws in place for stalking and harassment. So I think things are getting a bit below the belt with a lot of stuff that's happening on this platform. And a lot of people are seeing it for what it really is. They are being under attack as well. They are being stalked as well. What is it with that? Why are you attacking people and stalking people that just no longer want anything to do with you? You cannot force yourself onto people. I would suggest that you stop, because people are not going to put up with this type of harassment. Leave people alone. If it didn't work out in the friendship or the connectionship or whatever it is you want to call it on this YouTube platform, then that's just what it is. People have moved on with their life. Leave them be. They want nothing to do with you. Like, is that so hard for you to understand? and to keep being creepy and doing creepy things. Like, it's getting weird. But literally, that's all I got to say on my housekeeping. I did want to go ahead and shout out a few people like we always do. And just basically be very clear that the movement that we have going on over here is about unity. And we know that sometimes, you know, fallouts and bumping of heads may happen, but we want to keep people united, not tear people apart. And so a lot of times our mission and our movement is not going to look very, very, how should I put it?
It's not going to
Clear
be
to
conducive to people who want to fight and
exactly,
make and divide and separate. You know,
exactly.
you guys, they could make a program about you. It's called Lifestyles of the Old and the Shameless, because you have no shame whatsoever. You will say anything and everything. And you think it's getting to people, but all you're doing is showing yourselves for who you really are. Really, really, really showing up yourselves. You're a joke. You're like the house clowns of YouTube.
So Asher, you see that too, right? Isn't it something very weird? Like it's given that this person is very much obsessed with a lot of different people. And it's just like, you gotta let that go. Like, and what is the purpose for being so obsessed? Like what are your intentions? What are you looking for out of the connection? What is it? And I've already talked about it multiple times on my platform before. I know it's a lot of new people that's come in, they may not have heard it. But yeah, the whole situation between me and Nick was, they tried to basically put me on assignment. And because I did not want to be on assignment and do the things that they wanted me to do and speak up for people, speak up out of my own mind, and not go along with the whatever it is weird mess that they had going on, then now it's over because you can't control me. You can't get me to do your bidding. You can't get me to be the face or the black face, right? That's out here fighting your battles for you that you really want to do. But you know that if you do it, it's going to come off a little bit what? We can ask that question. Those are the things I've been calling out like this past whole week. So what you do is you try and find a black person to do your bidding for you, specifically black women. I said no, and I walked away because I seen the operation, I seen what they was trying to do, and it's not for me. It's not my energy. It's not what I want to do on this platform. So that is very clear. And I've watched this person ever since go from black woman to black woman to black woman to convince them of something and get them to do their evil bidding for them. That is the problem, and that's why they don't like me. I'm not doing
It's
that.
we call it racial laundering or racial outsourcing. That's what it's called. Yeah, there's a term for it. So whose skirt are you going to get under next to do your bidding? Hmm? Who's next? Who are you looking for next to fight your battles? So you can throw rocks and hide your hands literally and hide under someone else's skirts. People see you lot. People see what you're doing. You've been popped and you have no content. You have a whole channel there that's monetized. And look at the content. You're putting a black nail varnish on a heterosexual black man who you know doesn't wear nail varnish. You're disturbed, allegedly.
Right. And I'm looking at the comments and it's just like, yeah. Like, what? Who do you think you are? You know, these people. I don't understand what exactly the mission is here, but it was something that was smelly. It came around me, and I peeped it. And I was like, you know what? Mm-mm, I don't want no parts of it. But for people to sit out here and think they can tell us about our lineage, our heritage, who we are, where we're from, what we are, who put you in charge? Who put you in charge? You're not a professional at that. And if you are, I want to see the professionalism. Show me. Show me your professional background in doing these things instead of making it YouTube content. Because professionals are not going to bring that type of content to YouTube. They're going to be too busy in the lab doing what they are certified in doing the proper way. Yeah, yes, we have to be careful that people are out here harvesting people's personal data and also DNA. So you got to be careful about that too. We can't be sure. But all I'm
If you
asking is,
got a bunny rabbit, Golden, you better make sure you lock it up. You'll probably find it boiling in a pot soon. Joker.
oh my God. Oh my God. Yeah, like,
Telling
do
you,
we,
it's craziness. It's craziness. I can't believe it. I'm telling you, if these people could not do this in real life, you would
no,
literally get a tump in your belly root for this crap you're doing. Trust
absolutely.
me, you would not be doing this on the street. You would have been snatched up a long time ago for this crap. And I say that because that's what would happen in real life. But you think that you are powerful because you got a keyboard. That's your biggest weapon, your keyboard and your mouse.
Yep. And once you call it out and once you see it for what it is and you say, you know what, no longer, I don't want no more to do with this. I don't want no parts of this. I don't like how y'all moving. Then they throw you out to the street and they try to drag you for filth when they was literally sitting there beside you at one point in time. And now they have all these disgusting, nasty things to say about you, all because you chose to walk away and you want no more parts in their games and their operations. And I just think it's pathetic. They are users. They try to use your likeness. They try to use your power. They try to use your skill set to do their bidding. And once you see it for what it is and you walk away, then they try to tear you down and destroy you. This is what they do. Many people have experienced it. Many people are seeing it for what it really is. And I think, you know, basically how it is in life, time will always tell. And child, time is telling a lot. We're seeing it for what it is. And there's more things that's going to be seen. So, that's all I got for my housekeeping. You got a few things more you want to add, Imani, before we go ahead and get to our topic for today?
No, no, no. I'm not going to spend too much time dragging fools and foolish
Oh,
people.
I know what I wanted to say too. One other thing that I wanted to clarify. Maggie was going alive and having a conversation. And she was saying some things that I really, I love that she's finally come to this conclusion and is now sticking up for herself and standing up for herself. No one ever deserves to be called out of their name and called disgusting titles such as a maggot, right? And so she finally was speaking up about that. And what she was saying is not specifically that our ancestors and slaves have been called out of their names and have been called animals or compared to animals to dehumanize them. She didn't say that the maggot is what they used to say back in those days. She said that that same type of actions is what used to happen back in those times in those days. And that was their purpose for doing it, to dehumanize black and brown people by calling them animals by taking their actual names away from them and putting other names on them. That's not their name. And then you have someone who is sitting up here trying to argue tooth and nail about the maggot part, but you're not understanding the grand scheme of what she was saying, the
Sorry.
overall importance of what she was saying.
Oh, sorry, Golden. Is that Scooby Shabazz who's going to give us a lesson on Black history?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Mm,
today. Yeah.
yep.
She's going to give us
Professor.
a lesson on the names and the things that slaves were called. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
Professor Scooby in the mystery game. that
No,
vampire.
no. She's not Luther King anymore. She's Scooby Shabazz.
Scooby Shabazz. Child, I cannot take another lesson from this woman at all. Like, I'm not going to that class. I don't know who is. But yeah, so you don't get the overall importance of what Maggie was saying as far as how that is, right? To take a name away from someone who you feel as though is beneath you, right? Because you take somebody's name away, their name is tied into their legacy and their lineage, but you strip that from them, right? And then to dehumanize them, you compare them to animals and disgusting figures that are not human. That was the point of the conversation that she was having when she
I'm
said,
sorry. I'm sorry,
"What?
Golden. I've just seen Vampy's comment in the chat. Like,
Okay, hold
we're
on. Let me catch
different.
back up. Yeah, let me catch back up. Hold on. Scamnesia. They are obsessed. Weird children of the Josephine Baker tribe here. Yes, Asher. I like that, Asher. I love that. Because we all mixed up here. We all melting pot over here. And that's what it should be. And that's how it needs to be. I think she says, I'm catching up with the comment. Right, exactly. What she said. She hasn't shared not one trial she has overcome, but we shall overcome. Oh my God. The only song they need is Maggie. They're obsessed.
That's
Right.
what I was laughing at, the overcome comment. Yeah,
Yeah.
okay. That's the Negro spiritual that you know. So you're going to keep rinsing that and rinsing that and rinsing that. We shall overcome. Okay. Okay. We know you know that spiritual. Thank you.
Right. And these receipts and this proof, it's like, come on. Like, where are the receipts? The receipts are stalking, taking screenshots of people's chats, screenshots of who's sitting on panels together, and then trying to turn it around to be something that is not. You don't even know the context of what people are talking about in the conversation and in the chat. You just want to snatch it up and put it out there and paint a narrative about what somebody said to make it your narrative that sticks with however you feel. And that's the receipt queen. All hell, the receipt queen. Uh-huh. Anyway, we got to move right along. We done already held up too long with the housekeeping, but it needed to be said today. So, and even with a lot of this madness that is going on, I said on my live the other day, I will take accountability. Maybe, just maybe, some of these people are not racist. But I do know that they have a caring energy and a caring spirit. They have a dark energy and a dark spirit, and they like to attack people. They like to defame people. It seems like they hold some type of animosity in their heart towards people. And all they do for content is wake up every day and think about who they can talk about, who they can drag, and who they can destroy. And I think there's something wrong with having a mindset like that. We do our housekeeping because a lot of dirt gets dragged in when these people come around, and we're here to clean it up. and toss it back out where it came from. After we're done cleaning up, we get right back to our regular scheduled program and content, just like many people on this platform do. But these frequent flyers, every time you see them pop out with some type of content, it's always talking about other people, their personal lives, the disdain they have for them, animosity, anything that's negative. That's what you'll get from their content. And that's supposed to be content. That's all we've ever said, and that's all we'll ever keep pointing out. So, that's just how I feel on that, y'all. But let's go ahead and move right along. So, y'all, yes, we do have some political things that we will be talking about today. We have some updates when it comes to the Nolan Wells case. There's some phone forensics set, and we're going to be listening to some reports on that from Marc Lamont Hill, and he gives his breakdown. So, y'all know about this civil rights battle for Nolan Wells. It's reaching a critical turning point as the NAACP officially lends its national legal weight and organizational resources to the cause. Digital forensics teams are preparing to execute a full data extraction of involved mobile devices to establish verifiable timelines and unedited communications. So that's number one on the docket. But also, when it comes to Nolan Wells, we'll be hearing a little bit from Nancy Grace as well. And there's some updates when it comes to the altercation that some witnesses, have emerged information about. So highlighted during a recent national media coverage on the Nancy Grace Show, a potential eyewitness has emerged regarding the physical dispute at the center of the Nolan Wells case. The new account directly challenges previous official statements regarding how the altercation unfolded, potentially forcing both prosecution and defense teams to reevaluate some key factors. And so, y'all know, per usual, we have videos as well that we'll go ahead and share and watch together so y'all can hear a little bit of these updates. And again, when these serious things are happening to people, and the Nolan Wells case is just one of many, we have bigger fish to fry, bigger things to talk about than everybody else's personal lives. This is what's happening out here in the world. And yes, a lot of these cases we're reporting on right now is happening in the United States, but we know very similar cases are actually happening with other people as well across the globe. And so, this is what we like to bring to, the forefront, talk about, shed a light on. We know mainstream media will try to sweep things under the rug and, not tell the story the way it needs to be told. These cases are very touchy as well. We always want to make sure as well that when it comes to these cases, what is important is for us not to make speculation, but to wait for evidence, facts, and proof to come out from the proper professionals and officials. It is not our goal over here, to interfere with the facts and the evidence. We're waiting for them. We're demanding them. And so our voices speak out and speak loud because these are injustices that we are seeing happening, and we need proper justice. We deserve proper justice. All of us. And so let's go ahead and get into this, y'all. Let me go ahead and pop up my banner real quick. We'll listen to this together. This is a short one, just a few updates. And then y'all give me some of y'all thoughts and feelings or whatnot that y'all have on this case and what has been going on. Imani, before we get into it, do you have a few things you want to add, or you want to just hop right in?
No, we can just hop right in.
All righty, girl. Let's get into it. So let me go ahead and hit play, and we're going to meet y'all over in the chat.
We've been covering aspects of the Nolan Wells case. It is absolutely something we've taken seriously. And it's something that we've questioned. It's something we've challenged. It's something that we've organized for, put a spotlight on. We're going to keep doing it because pressure is mounting in the Nolan Wells death investigation. New details in the Nolan Wells death investigation. The NAACP has officially joined the legal team representing the family of 18-year-old Nolan Xavier Wells. And the family says they're ready to hand over his phone for a joint forensic examination, and they're willing to do so as early as this week. On Monday, attorney Ben Crump and the Wells family legal team sent a letter to District Attorney Angel Myers McElrath, requesting that the forensic inspection of Nolan's phone take place between Tuesday, August 18th and Friday, August 21st. Those dates represent the earliest window available under the 12-hour notice requirement for both parties to assemble their experts. Now, the family's legal team has weighed in. They said, our experts are on standby. The family is ready. Now, you might recall, as we've previously reported right here on Night School, again, reporting for our people, on July 15th, both parties originally agreed to a joint examination. The family is also asking the district attorney's office to confirm whether the inspection will still take place at the digital forensics lab at Mississippi Gulf Coast Community College, the location that was previously selected by the state. Wells's phone has been a central point of contention in this case, by the way. White young men took Nolan to Horn Island July 4th. They left and said Nolan chose to stay. Those guys reportedly left on a boat. And Nolan's phone made it back to shore. Nolan's family tracked it to one of his friends' homes. Nolan's mom searched the device and claimed somebody accessed and deleted. That's the key. They didn't just access. They accessed and deleted messages from his Snapchat before it was retrieved. Unverified photos circulating online have also purportedly shown Nolan in an argument with friends before he vanished. Meanwhile, the NAACP's Office of General Counsel, led by Kristen Clark, announced Monday that the organization is joining the family's legal team. Big deal. Clark said the NAACP would bring additional investigative resources to ensure that, quote, no stone is left unturned. Now, the Congressional Black Caucus has already sent a formal letter to Attorney General Todd Blanche and FBI Director Kash Patel, urging the Justice Department to launch an independent federal review of Nolan's death. The state autopsy remains sealed. It's currently being reviewed by a grand jury. The independent autopsy commissioned by the family found that the manner of Wells's death is not known yet. It still remains undetermined. A family that would have been celebrating their son's 19th birthday, that's a big one. They've been celebrating it this week, in fact. They're fighting instead just to know what happened to that baby. And we're going to continue to stand with them. We're going to continue to investigate with them. We're going to continue to ask questions, question everything that's answered, hold the powerful accountable, and we're going to try and get justice in any way imaginable, or any semblance of justice in any way imaginable.
Okay, y'all. So that was just a quick update right there as far as what is going on with the Nolan Wells case and some things that are now coming out later. We also have a little bit more that we're going to show you as well. And this is coming from none other than Nancy Grace. And, you know, she's been covering these type of cases and things for years. So we're going to go ahead and play just a little bit of that. But before we get started, Imani, do you have a few things you want to add?
Yeah, just to say, please go over and support Marc Lamont Hill. I don't know if people know him. He does do a lot of philanthropy, as well as he has his own channel, and he does political stuff and some interviews that are not necessarily political. But he also appears on the Joe Budden Network. I think he's been there for about a year. But yeah, go over and support his channel. He has some stuff there that's interesting. And yeah, that was it really. It's just really sad that, you know, these parents don't have an answer, And why is the state autopsy not being released? I don't get it. I just don't get it. I know it's gone to the grand jury, but why? The norm is that the results would be released. I just don't get it.
I don't either. It seems like too many things are being swept under the rug or hidden. And I think that poses a huge red flag, right? And so that is why this case is going the way it is, because a lot of people agree and feel that way as well. And I think what we can, take from this is we have to sometimes put ourselves in other people's shoes. If this was your child, and there's some people that have experienced this, and similarities to this. But if you haven't, at least put yourself in someone else's shoes. This is your child. You need answers. You need justice. You want to find out what happened. And people seem to be playing games to hide that truth from coming out to you. Come on now, what are we doing here? But there are people on the case. There are activists. There are lawyers. There are now celebrities even that are aiding and assisting, and funding and things of that nature to make sure the proper justice is served. The sad part is just, he is one of many, unfortunately, currently in this day time, that needs that same type of level of support and fight from the people, because authorities and whatnot just don't seem to be want to do their job properly and hide things, and we can't be sure why. But we won't speculate. We just need all of the facts, the evidence, and the data and the proof to come out, and then we can say what it is we truly feel has happened and has been going on. But let's let Nancy Grace cover a little bit. We'll watch that together, and we'll meet y'all over in the chat before we move on to our next topic. And Mama Warrior will be joining us a little bit later. She has a few things she wants to speak about as well. So let's go ahead and get into a little bit of this video with Nancy Grace, and we'll meet y'all over in the chat.
Investigation into the death of a shining star, Nolan Wells, has an altercation witness emerged. A witness that claims she saw an altercation at Horn Island. Good evening. I'm Nancy Grace. This is Crime Stories. I want to thank you for being with us. A Nolan Wells phone evidence torpedo.
Two confirmed witnesses that saw Nolan Wells on the island around 6 p.m. The Triton, as you said, left around 4:30.
What witnesses? Where? Who, what, where, why, and when?
I have not spoken publicly about this before, but I witnessed an altercation involving Nolan Wells from a boat nearby. What I saw has stayed with me, and I believe it's important information. I have provided or intend to provide my account to the appropriate investigators because Nolan's family deserves the truth. Out of respect for the ongoing investigation, I won't speculate beyond what I personally observed. While I was on the boat near the area, I witnessed an altercation involving Nolan Wells and several other individuals. I saw what appeared to be an argument that escalated after there was a dispute involving Nolan's phone. I heard Nolan yelling for his phone to be returned. The argument continued after the group reached shore, and I observed a physical fight involving Nolan and multiple people. I also observed a young woman telling them to stop. At that point, I left the area because the situation had appeared to be getting worse. I did not remain long enough to witness what happened afterward. Everything beyond what I personally observed would be speculation, so I cannot honestly say what occurred after I left. Then she said she messaged one of the individuals that she saw, hey, I just want to say I was a passenger on another boat and I saw the argument between you guys and we'll go to the police with this information. I also have video footage. My husband doesn't show much, but it shows the argument that was taken and how you guys were upset at Nolan because of the young lady.
That from Secret Service Sam on TikTok. Okay. How is this helping the investigation? I'm trying to make sense of so many people online making comments. Now, if this is true, if there is a witness who has a husband with her on the boat and they took a certain amount of video, it could change everything, especially if the video is time stamped. Straight out to veteran trial lawyer, defense attorney Philip Dubay joining me. He's joining us out of LA, formerly in the public defender's office. They try a ton of cases. Philip, first of all, has she turned it into police? She said she was. If she hasn't, I give her no credibility at all. Look, I want this to be true. Why? Because I want the video. I want to see the timestamp on the video. I want to see, was he still on Horn Island at 4:30 when his acquaintances on the Triton boat left? I want that video. And if she hasn't brought this forward to LE, law enforcement, then it means nothing to me. I mean, if I know a young man turns up dead in the water, and I know there's a controversy surrounding this. I mean, we know she knows that because she's gone online and posted it. Then why not hand it over to police?
Agreed. And it should go to the grand jury for part of their investigation. But I got to tell you, if I were cross-examining her, should this even go to trial, the first question I'd ask her on that 4th of July, what she had been drinking. Before that video got activated, everybody would want to
put him up.
And smoke. You know how many people were partying?
Okay, man. Now? Have you lost your mind? You defend criminal cases. I bet everybody you put on the stand has either been high, drunk, or worse during the altercation.
All right, y'all. So we're going to stop it right there for a quick commentary break. So shout out to Nancy Grace. Nancy Grace has been doing this for many years as far as criminal investigations. And, you know, I like her level of gumption, you know, that she comes with. She's not going to stop until she gets to the bottom of the truth and what is going on. And so I love the energy that she is putting over this case and many cases that she's done in the past. And the questions that she's asking are the same very questions that we all are asking. We need to get to the bottom of this. We need the truth. There are too many stories that are not adding up. There are too many things that are just weird, very much red flags within this case. And all a mourning family is trying to do is find out the truth of what happened to this son and get to the bottom of it and seek the proper justice. And so, Imani, what do you think on this? I know we've been covering a little bit of this case here and there as we've been doing reports, but we do watch it regularly, daily, to see what the updates are. What are your feelings overall on where we are right now opposed to where we started? Do you think progress is being made in this case and, you know, justice is going to be served?
Well, my first question about this, and unless they've been trying to tout this video footage to try and sell it to make money, is if I had footage of such a publicized case, any case, why the hell haven't you handed in this footage ages ago? I'm confused. I am so confused as to why they would only be saying now that they've got this footage. Because what have you been doing with it since the July the 4th weekend? It's over a month. It's about 6 weeks. Why would you hold on to that? I'm really confused about someone having that kind of footage and not giving it to law enforcement straight away. That's quite scary. I mean, I would, you know, it's not like it's not something that people don't know about. I mean, I like the fact that Nancy Grace is on it, but why the hell hadn't it been handed into to law enforcement?
Absolutely.
That was my first thought.
Exactly. And when it comes to, the law, that's withholding evidence. And so there will be a circumstance that, and look, if people want to play these games, you can play them. But, there will be consequences for that. Withholding of evidence, and especially such a heavy case, a world known case now, because this case is known all across the globe, especially because we do have, independent journalists and content creators that are bringing this case to awareness. And, on these platforms, this is a global platform. So now this case is known all around the world, and you're withholding evidence and things that could help solve the case. There are consequences for that. Imani?
Well, I suppose I would um, proceed with caution on that. If they've tried to edit it or doctor it, then there would be consequences. As long as they have a good explanation, and I can't think of anything that you wouldn't have handed it in already, but as long as they haven't done anything to it or tried to, interfere with the investigation by doctoring it or anything, then there would be consequences. But I just don't get why it hasn't been handed in. M- I, my thoughts would be that they've been trying to maybe make money from it, and maybe they hadn't been able to. I don't know. I mean, that's just my speculation out there, but I don't know that that is the case, and that would be allegedly. But I don't get why they hadn't handed it to law enforcement straight away. I don't get it. But we shall see whether hopefully they're not just creating a ruse around this, because there are people that do these things with these kind of really highly publicized cases, because they want to get in the spotlight. But I hope that they're not just leading people down a garden path to nowhere with this, but they need to hand it to law enforcement as soon as possible. I mean, it may be that they might have been under a rock for 6 weeks and they didn't realize this had happened. Who knows?
Well, hello everyone. This is Mama Warrior. I got a chance to step in for a minute to say hello to everyone, welcome everyone, and let you guys know how much I do love you. Mama Warrior been out of pocket today, as you see in the chat, but sometimes Mama Warrior gotta say what Mama Warrior gotta say. And I had a few things I wanted to point out. This Snoopy character, we don't need her teaching us anything about slavery and black people's experience with slavery. We don't need that from her. And I still believe that she, in my opinion, is a racist Karen and her little crew, and she knows who her little crew is, and her little coons that applaud her. And if you caught my live last night, or if you catch my live, you'll see exactly what I was saying. But I'm just so sick of this woman. I'm totally sick of her and all her epitaphs over there with her. I'm just so sick of them all. And Nick Mountain Goat, I have a little something to say about her. Actually, when her and Golden was talking long ago, it was Nick Mountain Goat that was calling my home at 3 and 4 o'clock in the morning trying to talk to Golden and be thirsty after Golden. It's just the opposite. And also, she sent Golden pictures. And she sent Golden a whole lot of things directly from over there in Austin, or wherever she comes from. We all know where she comes from. But she sent everything, pictures and stuff to Golden. So that's just the opposite. What she's talking to you is just flip that over. Just turn it over, flip it over, and then you'll see where the thirst is coming from. And like me and Golden was talking, and I love the LGBTQ community, but even if my daughter was part of that community, who the hell would want Nick the Goat? Who is that her name? Nick the Goat? Nick the Mountain Goat? Yeah, who would want her? You see. So I just wanted to say that. And like I said, what I really want, what we're talking about right now, we definitely must have justice for Nolan Wells. That's on my mind. It's in my prayer. I'm on my knees about it each and every day. And he really needs justice. We need justice for Nolan Wells. And I just wanted to come in and say hello to everybody. And as you'll see in my chat, I had to get my little stuff off my chest today. But I love you guys. Thank you for being here. And let's get on with the live. All right? Okay, this Mama Warrior checking out. Thank you, Mom. So she just came in to say a few things while she had the moment to slide in. But yes, we're going to get right back into our reporting here of Nolan Wells. And there are a few other young people, Black people, teenagers, children as well, that are equally having to go through the same thing. No justice, no truth. And so, yeah, that's what we'll be talking about. And we do have some other topics we'll get into as well. Before we play a little bit more, did you have a few things you wanted to add, Imani?
No, just to say thank you, Mama. And yeah, I understand that Mama is upset, particularly, actually, this is the last thing I'm going to say about you, you horny goat. Particularly, you actually insinuating that Golden needed to come out to her mother. You're a disgrace. You really are a disgrace. And I can't believe that someone of your years is behaving like this and targeting someone who's 20 years younger than you. You're a disgrace. But that's all on that, because like Golden said, there are more important things to talk about. And actually, the worst part of all that, I'm sorry, I'm going to just pivot back to that, is you actually think that sexual identity is a weapon to attack people. Sexual identity in 2026, you're trying to use it to attack someone as though anybody is going to be ashamed of who they are. Maybe you need to look in the mirror, lady, because you're weird. But let's get back to Nolan Wells, because it's far more important than these crazy buffoons that are running around this platform.
I agree. So let's get back into it, y'all. We'll meet y'all over in the chat.
Well, every
Agreed.
witness is not a nun, a priest, or a virgin. Everybody on Horn Island was drinking, man. What are you talking about? I don't care if she took a drink. I want the video.
You want the truth, is what you want. You want the truth. And let's
Yeah, and that would be the video.
remember, Nancy,
Okay.
not consistent.
Brandon Tatum is joining us. So after all that, all you have to say is, was she drinking? That's your takeaway from that. Joining me is Brandon Tatum, former police officer, Tucson, now star of The Officer Tatum on YouTube, who famously has interviewed the acquaintances who all say they had nothing to do with it. Let's just put that out there. He's interviewed them extensively. I want to talk about not what you want to talk about, Brandon Tatum, which is they had nothing to do with this, because I met them and I believe them. So noted. Can we talk about a potential witness to an altercation? And she seems to suggest it was over Katie. Why? Don't know what the altercation was. Maybe it was, hey, leave her alone and get on the boat, or leave her alone, she's my girlfriend, or it could be anything. But if there is a witness placing Nolan seemingly in the water, I can't tell that, but having an argument with another person, a partier at Horn Island, that is significant. It could prove or disprove your friend's timeline.
Well, Nancy, I think that it's a big obstacle to climb here, because I've never heard of this altercation whatsoever. Nobody that I've talked to have alluded that this altercation was real. And also Katie, whom I saw her text messages, she didn't even say this altercation occurred. What I will say is that if I was an investigator in this investigation, I want to hear that. I want to be able to compare that information to other things that we may have or other witness statements. But I don't think it's significant because it doesn't show if Nolan Wells was actually killed in that altercation. She's claiming that there was an altercation between him arguing with somebody else. There was a potential fight, but that doesn't get me to how did he drown? How did he get in the water? And how did he not recover and come home to his family? So I would take that into consideration. I would compare that to the other interviews that I've done, but I don't think it's significant whatsoever. However, I would be incredibly skeptical because there's no other statements that I've heard from anybody that comes even close to an altercation with Nolan Wells and others over a girl.
Number one, he's dead shortly after an alleged altercation with another male. We think over a woman. See, in my world, I put together both circumstantial and direct evidence. Direct evidence would be, for instance, DNA or a fingerprint. Circumstantial evidence is the timing of the alleged altercation and his death. Right?
Nancy,
so
but Nancy,
it's hard for me to believe that there's some kind of altercation on Horn Island just before he dies. And they were not connected. That's hard for me to believe that.
Well, Nancy, she's not saying he lost the fight. She's not saying that he got beat up. If you look at the autopsy, there's no clear signs of blunt force trauma to his face or any of the vital areas that could kill him. So it doesn't appear that there's any indication that he lost a fight, that there was enough trauma in this particular fight that would lead to his death. And when you look at the autopsy, there is no blunt force trauma to his face. There is no lacerations or damages to the back of his head. This is redness that was underneath the skin.
Oh, wait, are you looking at the screen? Because I'm looking at a big red mark on the back of his head.
Yeah, but this is underneath the skin. This is not a big red gash that's in the back of his head, which would be consistent with blunt force trauma. This is something that occurred underneath the skin that could have been from pooling of blood after his death due to,
Okay, I need to explain something.
Yeah, I'll let the experts talk about specifics, but it doesn't appear that.
Okay, let's do that. But I want everyone to understand why Officer Tatum is here. Officer Tatum and Philip Dubé and others on our panel tonight are taking a particular side, right? It's called cross-examination, and it is similar to what happens in court. A theory emerges, a line of questioning emerges, and the other side tests it with fire under cross-examination. And then hopefully you get to the truth. Right now we're talking about an alleged eyewitness to an altercation just before Nolan Wells is dead. If she has not handed this over to the police, it doesn't mean a hill of beans to me. But Tatum has a good idea, and that is let's let an expert discuss it. To Joseph Scott Morgan, death investigator, professor of forensics, Jacksonville State University. You can see him now on a hit podcast. It's on YouTube, Body Bags with Joseph Scott Morgan. Joe Scott, if there had been not a blunt force trauma that Officer Tatum is describing, but a fist fight, if there had been a fist fight plus body in water for multiple days, body decomposition, would you expect to see red marks on the hands at that juncture, on the face? What would you expect if there had been a fisticuffs?
Yeah, you would see, well, first off, above discolored areas, like consistent with contusions. If there are facial strikes or just body blows, you can actually see abraded areas over the surface of his fingers. And these are very subtle sometimes. And if there is decomposition, which we believe there is, particularly per the second autopsy that was performed, he didn't make note of this. And can I go one more step with this? And this is kind of graphic, but people need to understand this. This physician that did the second autopsy actually did what's referred to as a coronal sectioning of the face. So there were multiple incisions made into Nolan's face in this autopsy, this second autopsy. And this guy didn't see anything. He didn't see anything that was of import relative or indicative of blunt force trauma. And I would think that if there was contact, particularly if he's fighting a group of people, these sorts of things, you're on the leading edges, or what we refer to as the blade of the arm right here on the forearm, the back of the hands, the knuckles, those points of contact. And certainly if there's facial strikes going on with him, which we find with blunt force trauma many times with fisticuffs, as you say, you'll see these strikes, you'll see marks on the face. There's nothing to indicate that in the second autopsy. Now, what the state has, I don't know, but I do know this. I know they're saying they're done with the autopsy and that it's complete, which means the gross findings in the autopsy room, the tox, the histology, that means that autopsy report is complete. They just hadn't released their findings yet.
And speaking of that, Joe Scott Morgan, I've heard the same, that the autopsy is complete.
Yeah.
There are reports that there is no cocaine in Nolan's system. That's uncorroborated reports.
Okay.
But a good source. No cocaine in the system.
Yep.
Joe Scott, when the body has been in the elements, such as the water, for that long, how can I confirm if he had been drinking or not?
Oh, you can still pull a BA, blood alcohol or blood ethanol level, as it's referred to. And again, Nancy, we're not talking about someone that has been down for weeks and weeks. We can still do the BA, and it can come from urine, blood. We can still draw urine and find it pretty effectively. You'll have what's referred to as qualitative. We've talked about this before, and I know you understand that. But so our friends understand, you have a qualitative amount, which they say, yes, it is present. And then you have a quantitative amount where they do the measurement of the BAC, the blood alcohol content. Just think about DWI, DUI, wherever you're from, those levels. And then we get up to those lethal levels. That's really what I'm interested in relative. And yeah, I'm interested in any of the other toxicological findings you might have relative to anything illicit or illicit drugs.
All right, y'all. So this is a longer video, so we can't go into all of it and play the entire thing. But I did want us to hear, what some of these updates are, and some of the things that we have recently seen were being, introduced into what, or however they may be important to the case, as far as like you heard him speak about and Nancy speak about the alcohol level and this, assumption that there was, UGs within his system, which have been due to a inside source, I guess, that Nancy has been ruled out, that there were no UGs in the system and the alcohol levels were not that high. And so what do you think about all of this, Imani?
Well, it's good to know because Officer Kuhn Tatum was insinuating that he did have pharmaceuticals in his system and that he was alleging that he was trading them and he had a history of it. So that wipes out that theory that he was, and that narrative that he was spreading. I don't get why they didn't, there were certain things and tissue samples missing that went to the private coroner, or the guy that they hired to do the second autopsy. So it's good to know that they have found that there weren't, the alleged pharmaceuticals in his system. And people, really, for the family, they just want to know the truth. I mean, imagine he's just had a birthday. And like I said, I was always suspicious about the phone. I was always suspicious about the phone and the fact that the parents had to track the phone, but we'll wait and see. I'm not going to make any assumptions. Let's see what happens going forward. They just need answers, and they need to stop attacking the parents. because that's
Right.
pissing me
It's
off.
even, listen, there was even, as of recently, cases of, well, not cases, but it has been reported that people have been contacting the mother's job, right? And gunning for her to get her nursing license taken away because she's fighting for justice and truth of what really happened to her son being unalived. I think that that is disgusting. Why would you want to destroy this woman's career? Because all she's looking for is truth and justice to find out what happened to her son. And like you said, one of the things that I thought was very important as well is it has been ruled out that there were no Uggs in that young man's system. And one of the things that I don't like when it comes to a lot of these cases, especially when it comes to black and brown people, and there's something that they want to hide or they want to cover or blame or use blame for, is always the fact that they are either an alcoholic or a drug addict, to make it seem as though what happened to them could be due to their own poor decisions, when that's not the case. That is a cover up, and that is to, discredit the person that is the victim and needs the justice. And so, what do you think about that, Imani, before we move on to our next topic?
Yeah, I didn't like the fact that, it was, first of all, it was the parents, then it was the fact that one of the friends, the alleged friends, was saying that, that Nolan would be horrified if he knew what their parents were doing. Yeah, okay. He told you that from where? Hmm? It was all that stuff that was going on. And I just think that, this is about the parents wanting answers. And, I hope they get the answers that they need. But yeah, I found some of the narratives. I find anybody who still calls themselves by the title of their old job, in my eyes, is a tool anyway. I mean, why are you calling yourself Officer Tatum and you're not in law enforcement?
Right.
The guy is
It's
a
all
prick.
media purposes. You're not an officer anymore. And typically, honestly, what usually is supposed to be the protocol is that if you get caught doing that, there can be consequences for that as well, because now you're misrepresenting yourself as law enforcement and you're not law enforcement
No,
anymore.
I
To be,
think
but
I
you're
think
not, and
some if he tries to make an arrest is a problem, but there are a few tools who still call themselves by their last title of their last job because they can't let it go because it's probably the most important that they felt in their whole life. I can't stand him, to be quite honest with you. I really
and you
can't.
think about it, like if that's the case, and there's people that don't know his history or the update of where he is within his life right now, and where he is within his career right now, there are people that may fall victim to, let's just say he goes out one day and feels as though he wants to do a citizen arrest. At this point, it's a citizen arrest. You are not a agent anymore. You are not a officer anymore. So that would be a citizen arrest. But if people are seeing you present yourself or hearing you present yourself as a officer, they feel as though, if he comes up to them, if that's something that he does, not saying that he has done that, but if that's something that he does, then the people will not know the difference. They will think that he is a actual officer still to this day, but he is a previous officer. You no longer work as an officer. So if you're going up to someone and trying to apprehend them, you're doing that as a citizen arrest, not as an officer. But yeah, so that we'll stop it there, y'all. If you guys, watch Nancy Grace, if you have not, please do so. She is staying heavily on top of this case, and I love the gumption that she has to get to the truth and the answers of what is going on. We do have some updates that are trickling out, you know, throughout the weeks, throughout the days, and just prayers for the family and rest in peace to Nolan Wells. And that's all I want to say on that. I don't want to talk about too much more. We do have another young man that will be being discussed a little bit later in the live. But before we get to that, we are going to discuss a few things when it comes to Trump, y'all. And he's never a dull moment. And so we will get into that after the song break. Is that cool, Imani? You want to just take a little boppity bop bop break and then get into our next topic with Trump and these love letters?
Oh, yeah. Gotta get my appetite. Oh, my God, I
Chat.
almost vomited in my own mouth when you said Trump and love letters in the same sentence. Didn't Vampy have a song request?
Yeah, how about we go ahead and play this song? I think she said maybe in the comments she might have to play it on the replay because she may have to pop out. But Vampy, if you're still there, if you're still listening from the bushes, girl, I'm gonna go ahead and play the song for you, your song request, and we may play it towards the end again as well. But let's go ahead and get into that, and then we'll be right back.
That got people forgetting folks reunion. That part. Every laugh ain't harmless. Every post ain't just jokes. Some people smiling online, crying in real life. Enough is enough. Enough is enough. Why you tearing people down for fun? Why? You don't know what they carry when the camera done. Broken souls throw stones, then hide their hands. Cowards in comment sections playing God again. Karma don't miss, no, karma don't miss. And healing's still possible too. So either spread love or watch life humble you. Yeah. YouTube streets messy, everybody got a target. Creators throwing dirt like hate became a market. Mocking people daily, that spirit look haunted. Tell me who raised y'all, this behavior garbage. Laughing at depression, exposing folks' trauma. Then next shock when tragedy follow behind you. The evil energy, boomerang proper. Come on, pull up silent like a midnight robber. And honestly, do you watch my live? I talk truth, pain, growth, tears, real vibes. Not everybody built for the games online. Some folks want insult from losing their mind. That's facts, no cap. Y'all did the humiliation. Every live stream feel like public execution. Views over souls, cloud over humans. Then wonder why the whole world mentally ruined. Somebody mama crying at night. Somebody daughter hurt inside. Somebody praying not to give up while bullets screenshot painful like shame on you. Shame. You need healing too. Only damaged people wake up daily, trying to damage others too. Enough is enough. Why you turn people down for fun? Tearing them down. You don't know what they fighting when the live stream done. Keyboard killers acting tough online. Whole time spiritually broken inside. Karma don't miss, no. Karma don't skip souls either. Every hateful seed gon' meet the reaper. So to the hurt and bully people, listen close. You matter more than these demons online. These chicks bitter, these dudes weird. Obsessed every day, like why you still here? Refreshing my page while pretending you don't care. Whole personality built off hate and fear. Talk slick online, real life timid. Broken inside, everybody can feel it. Projecting their wounds while the comments all cheering. That ain't straight, baby, that sickness concealed. And I said what I said. Yeah, some of these creators need therapy bad. Not another live stream drag. Not another fake outrage cash grab scam. Y'all bully for a living, that's sad. Spirit look bankrupt, dusty and mad. And the people encouraging it just is trash. Laugh now, karma got a long memory past. Because words cut deep. So deep. And some people never recover. To everybody bullied online, you are not weak because you hurt. You are not crazy because you feel pain. And don't let these empty souls convince you your life got no value. The loudest bullies usually fighting demons they never healed from. That ain't an excuse, but it's the truth. And to the bullies, get help, seriously. This obsession with tearing strangers apart every day. That ain't normal. Enough is enough. We need love more than ever now. Too many souls out here barely hanging on somehow. No more glorifying painful views. No more clowning her forever new. No more mob attacks for entertainment. That darkness got consequences too. Karma don't miss. Karma don't miss. And healing still possible too. So either spread love or watch life humble you. Enough is enough. Spread love before it's too late. Yeah, before it's too late.
All right, y'all. So thanks for rocking with us for that quick little song break. And that is one of the songs that Bambi said she liked a lot. So I wanted to go ahead and play that for her. But I love it too. The words and the lyrics that I put in there is something that I really mean from my heart. But if it's touching people and people really like it, and thank you, Lacey, as well. You seem to like it as well. That's the goal. You know what I mean? Just trying to spread positive messages and love in music, with great sounds and things of that nature, which all of y'all do wonderfully as well. So if y'all have not checked out Lacey's music is really good. There's a lot of people in here that makes music. And yeah, we just gotta support one another. And we all have different styles and different genres of music. Star over here, child, playing the bass guitar with her little small self. I'm like, girl, how do you be playing that big old bass guitar like that? But she gets it down, okay? So she's a real musician. There's a lot of real musicians out here. We have to give people their props and lift people up for the skills and the talents and the abilities that they have. We all have different ones and they all are unique and beautiful. What's up, Star Girl? But yeah, so we'll move right along with the content, y'all. So we're going to be getting into our next topic. So let me go ahead and give y'all a rundown of what this part is going to be. So we're going to be moving over to another one of our favorite platforms is the iHip news podcast with Jennifer Welch, as you can see. And she's going to be talking about, y'all, there's been some leaked communications that expose dynamics in Trump's inner circle. Okay, and so there's a few things now with some love letters that's supposed to have, come out that have been, I guess, written between Trump and someone that is not his wife. And so, very messy. Anyway, before we get into that, Imani, do you have a few things you want to add? I know you said you was kind of like regurgitating in your mouth over this one, but I thought this was pretty interesting. These love letters.
Still trying to work out how that man got even one woman. But so not 3 wives and now a girlfriend. Oh my God.
Child, when people check
My mum
money,
used to say, you know what? My mum used to say, there is a proverb that they say, every pot has a cover. My mum used to say, you call it a trash can. In the UK, we call it a bin. Every bin has a lid. And yeah, that bin has found another lid. Amazing.
I just cannot. You know what I mean? But this is the thing that I do know to be true. When people chase money, and a lot of women is out here chasing money. And so, it may not be about how the person look, how they make them feel. Even spending time and being around the person is not something that's important to them. As long as they can finesse and get their cash and get into that wallet, then they'll do what
Mm-mm.
they gotta
No,
do. Ain't gonna do
not
it.
all money's good money. I would
No
rather
way. Do it.
starve.
I would rather starve, she said.
That man could tell me he's got my only child. I would say he's had a good life, Miss Sari. Mm-mm. No way.
Child, I'd rather go hungry. I will rather go hungry.
I can't do it. I can't do it. No, I ain't gonna do it. But anyway, let's go ahead and get into a
I would do anything for love, but I certainly wouldn't do that.
I'll do anything for love, but I won't do that. Is that the song, girl? Y'all know I can't sing, y'all. Let's get into the video, okay?
Fatal attraction. We've got a full-blown bunny boiler situation going on with Natalie Harp and Donald Trump. The Daily Beast has gained access to some leaked psychotic letters. And I'm telling you, this is Glenn Close, Michael Douglas. Let's see what the bunny boiler has been saying to President Dipshit. Pop this up. Eyebrow raising letter from Trump's blonde aide 35 exposed. Next slide. I want things to always be right between us. I also know I've been distracted all week, forgetting to eat throughout the days and even forgetting to sleep and only catching a couple hours at a time. Next slide. One letter she sent to Trump said, "You are all that matters to me." Next slide. Her brother says she's good looking. She's got a good personality. She thinks that he saved her life. So, like somebody living with that kind of gratitude, that must feel pretty good. Next slide. And this is what John Ossoff said that has really blown this whole thing up. He says, Trump doesn't want to do the job. He wants to build his ballroom and travel with Natalie on their apparently defenseless flying palace gifted by the Emir of Qatar. So as you can imagine, this is a really big story because if she is this close to the president and she is this emotionally unstable, this is a national security risk. Laura Loomer's jumping in and she's saying, oh, everybody's talking about Natalie Harp. And the leakers are coming from inside the White House. Laura says because they're jealous of Natalie Harp's relationship with Donald Trump. So let's check in with Fox News and see if they're covering this. Play the clip.
You said the party that also hates Thanksgiving, right? Yeah. Well, Elsa Ayed, he's out in these tight T-shirts. You have AOC with her pretty smile. She's beautiful. She's got the red lipstick. You have, who else? You have Mamdani, always smiling, always singing, seemingly positive. But it doesn't make their philosophy any less dangerous, right? You can put lipstick on a pig, but it's still a pig. You can put them all over TikTok. You can put them all over Instagram and all over Facebook. Other platforms are, but socialism always fails.
Okay. I said this, I've been saying this the last 2 weeks. I think they're horny at Fox News. I think that all of the people that are working on Fox News, because they're always talking about how hot the Democrats are, they realize that the energy and the cool kids in the country right now are with the progressive left. And so they're trying to address it by ceding some ground. Yeah. Abdul's kind of hot and Zoran's always got a smile on his face. And God, I mean, AOC, what a babe with the red lipstick and the dark hair. But they're still crazy socialists. But are they? Are they? Or are they trying to take the Democratic Party back to where it needs to be? The party of FDR, a party that services the people. See, at Fox News, they want a president that is creating a mafia style government. That's what they're supporting. So what do you want? Do you want a government that provides social safety nets, that regulates corporations, that makes sure that all of the people in the country have access to health care? Or do you want a government like all of those horny Fox News correspondents want, where you sit and you're a criminal apologist, a pedophile apologist, et cetera, et cetera? Well, speaking of our crime boss, here is Trump openly sharing classified information while bragging about his relationship with Kim Jong-un. Play the clip.
Everybody, very much. Thank you.
Are you exchanging written letters with Kim Jong-un?
Can't tell you that. But I get along with him. And you know what? The fact that I get along with him, that's a good thing, not a bad thing. He has 57 very powerful nuclear weapons. Should have never allowed it to happen. They should have never allowed it. If I were president, I wouldn't have allowed it. But he's got him. I get along with him very well.
All right. So there he does. He just spills the beans. North Korea has 57 nukes, but he gets along great with him. So NBD, no big deal. Don't worry about it. He's laser focused on his helipad, which is where he was standing right there, because he sees the government as his, and he is turning it into a government that services him, his dipshit children, and all of his dipshit, the people in his cabinet, so that he and Natalie can have this really weird, bizarre relationship. And here's the thing. I would understand the whole thing a little bit more if the bunny boiler and the president were having an actual sexual relationship, but they're not. That's how broken this whole thing is. And then here is North Korea responding to Trump claiming that he's in talks with Kim Jong-un. Pop this up. Kim Yo-jong, the sister of North Korean leader Kim Jong-un, has denied any ongoing communication between U.S. President Donald Trump and her brother, maintaining that the U.S. continues to engage in a hostile policy towards her country. So, I mean, obviously, do I think that Kim Jong-un is probably talking to Donald Trump? Probably. I think they're both completely nuts. I want to remind you that Kim Jong-un's followers think that he doesn't crap. They think that he does not take a shit. They believe this. And then you think about all the crazy stuff that Donald Trump's followers believe about him, that he's smart, that he's a genius, that he's a great president, that Jesus sent him to America to save America. They really have so much in common. It's really, really absolutely mind-boggling. And Trump also spent his day touting the ballroom to the press. Play the clip.
You know, beautiful new roadway. They get out of the car and they walk down this path onto that, and they can have cocktails and everything outside of the White House. And then they go into the ballroom. Even the military, they can use it like that. And we have the ballroom is so much a military component with the drones and the bomb shelters and everything else that we have.
Okay, that's the key part right there. The ballroom has a huge military component. Why? Why does it have a huge military component? Because we know our friend historian Ruth Ben-Ghiat, who studies autocrats, says they all get laser focused on creating a safe space so that they can go and hide in that space whenever it's time for them to leave power, or there's a coup, or they're voted out of office, etc. He has no intention of leaving. That's why these midterms are so incredibly important, because that's going to be the first sign to him that nobody likes you except for the people, like, I don't know, we're talking like 30% of just Republicans, I think that you're competent, think that you're smart. The overwhelming majority of Americans are done with this shit, don't want this shit, are ready for him to pack his bags. But this is really, really terrifying that he is building this ballroom with this bunker in it as a space for him to feel safe, because he's terrified of leaving. And you have to remember, this man is a malignant narcissist. And when he lost the election in 2020, it was a narcissistic injury. He couldn't deal with it. He had to pack his toys up and leave. He couldn't even be on stage to do the peaceful transfer of power. That's how big of a chicken shit coward this guy is. Think about all the basketball games you've watched, tennis matches you watch, football games, soccer games. The teams go, hey, good game, good game. He can't even do that. He's not capable of doing that. And just always think about this when you feel overwhelmed by them flooding the zone. The MAGA people dig that. They say, oh, that petulance, that coward, that.
All right, y'all. So we're going to just go ahead and take a quick commentary break right here. Yo, I love me some Jennifer Welch, for real. If y'all have not watched her or checked out her platform, you really got to. And then sometimes she does her podcast with her co-host Pumps, and child, they give me life, because they say all the things that I literally be saying and I'll be wanting to say. They say it, and I'll just be cracking up. But the way that she be going in, rightfully so, on Trump and this administration and all of these weirdos that are within it, that reminds me very similar to the weirdos that's on YouTube. Child gives me life, just goes in. But Imani, were you able to catch some of what Jennifer was saying? I know you was fixing some of your Wi-Fi issues and stuff like that. But did you hear?
I did watch it. I did watch it a bit earlier. That's why I was still nauseous from it. The mere fact.
Child, Imani got up out of here. She said, "I cannot listen to it because I'm feeling like
Not for a
may
second
have."
time. Oh yeah, not on an not on an empty stomach anyway. No, it's the fact that she wrote, "You're all that matters to me." This woman's got some serious self-esteem issues.
I don't
I
get
mean,
it.
wow.
Is
I'm
it the
just
money?
going, wow. How can you look at that orange baboon and say, you're all that matters to me? Oh my God.
Is it the money, Imani? What is it? Because
No, I'm
I
telling
can't
you,
be
for every
sure.
bin, there's a lid. Mm-mm-mm-mm-mm. And
Well,
and
if
and
she
then
is,
it's Laura. In fact, I'll call her Laura Looney. That she says, Laura Looney says that people are jealous of her relationship with Trump. There's some weird people around. Weird people. That White House sounds like some of the weirdos on some of these platforms. Weirdo.
there's
Jealous.
been an infrastructure of like infiltration. I'm sorry, of like these people who have like seemed to like bust out of the asylum, and they have now taken places and positions here on this platform or YouTube in our government, which is even more scary. And it's just like, and it's respectfully, because I do understand people suffer with mental issues. And I'm not making jokes of that. I'm just saying these people, there's something that's going on, like additionally to what things they can achieve and accomplish, but there is some type of like mental disconnect that these people are also
Mm.
equally walking around with. And I think that the level of severity that is at, it would deem these people to probably be in asylums or mental institutions. And that's just my personal opinion, and that's me, just kind of giving my thoughts and feelings about it. But there is something that's not right with the way these people think. And I want to know, like, when it comes to Trump, like, what is it with these women? And these are women that are not attractive. Like, they're not desperate. They don't look like they're desperate to get a man. Like, they can get anybody they want. They're pretty attractive, but they're gravitated towards him for what? The only thing that I feel like it could possibly be is for whatever they deem to see
It's power and
and
money.
or
I mean,
power.
there used to be a program, an interview program back in the UK, and one day this woman had, there was a guy. He was probably in his 70s or something, and he was this magician called Paul Daniels, and he married his assistant who was about 30. She was quite a lot younger than him, and there was a funny woman that used to do interviews, and she said her first question was, "So, Debbie," because her name was Debbie, "what first attracted you to the multimillionaire Paul Daniels?" Because it could only be money,
Exactly. Like,
you
at
know.
this point, what can we deduce? Like, and it's like, if you're in love with this man so much, I hope you're equipped to, changing his briefs and his diapers.
There's not enough money in the world to be for me to no
You're
no.
gonna have
I
to be a
couldn't.
nursing assistant. But
I
no, that's
could.
not what they're there to do. They don't care. That's not about love. They want to snatch whatever type of coin that he does have
But
left right
it's
now and run off, and do what they do with the money. But eventually he's gonna be poor. He's not gonna have anything, and he's gonna be behind a jail cell if justice is properly served. That's where he belongs to be, with not one coin, and trying to hope that he can buy a Slim Jim. That's where he deserves to be because of the things he's done.
But you know
Robbing
what?
the Leave.
There's bigger
That's
issues,
it.
though. There's bigger issues at hand. It's the fact that there are national security issues, that he's discussing all these national security issues with this person who happens to be in love with him, which means there's a question on her capacities, and then all these things about his best friend Kim Jong Un, and I'm just saying we are really in an upside down world. This has got to be a joke. This really has to be a joke. They hid in a catering truck the other day together. I don't know what to say. I really don't know what to say. It's an upside down world. Someone's going to say this is a parody soon. They
It
must
they
do.
Look, this is like, oh, it's just like I can't. I really can't. Like sometimes I get lost for it. When we talk about parodies, child, they already making parodies off of it. And I think the saddest thing is, dang, they making parodies off of our governmental structure. How sad.
What is that movie, that comedy movie that is about a crazy presidency? And I can't remember what it's called, but it's really funny. But it is like it was made. Oh, who's in it? Ah, it will
Oh
come to me
no.
before the end of this. It is
Okay.
about a crazy presidency where the president just does anything he feels like. And but the problem is people's lives and
All right.
kitchen table, the
Yeah.
economy, and it's not a joke to people that they're a lot worse off than they were before. And these are the
Right.
problems. But, however, his popularity is tanking, and they saying the midterms are going to, you know, Mm, who knows? Who knows? I don't know. It's a crazy world. I will remember that film because it is a comedy that's created about a crazy president, and literally he just does anything. And I believe there's a point where he's driving a clown car or something like that. Don't quote me, but I think it's that. But it will come to me before the end of this before we finish. But this is craziness. Craziness. She's crazy. She's crazy. But we have got a Nurse Ratchet on the platform though, haven't we? So it is like five flew over the cuckoo's nest because there is a Nurse Ratchet over there in Scooby Doo land, isn't there?
I mean, I just call it like I see it. You know what I mean? And it's just, oof. But let me see real quick. We can find that movie like you said before we get done, or whatnot. Is it Head of State with Chris Rock? No.
No, no, no. It's
How old is it?
I'll
Is it
get
in the 90s?
no. I will remember it before the end. We'll get to it. We'll get to it. So where did we get halfway through this video? But this
We're
is
just about
crazy.
halfway through. Let me
Yeah.
know. Do you want to play it to the end because we got about another 6 minutes, or do you want to just push right along to our next topic?
Let's just well, I'll just tell them.
She didn't get
Basically,
to
what
part with
happens
the
in the
love
rest of the
letter.
video. You can go over, please go over, and subscribe to the channel. I mean, a lot of the
Yeah,
rest of it is about his relationship with the heads of states of other countries, and that is deteriorating. And obviously, there's this crazy war going on, and it's really about his relationship with foreign governments and the culture of MAGA, and you know
yeah, the
just the
craziness of it all.
denigration of what was standards, before this administration. But
But
the
you,
midterms are coming up, and you can't have a say if you don't vote, and people have to be informed, get involved, or because if you don't like the results, no one wants to hear afterwards. And I think it's really important, even when it comes to school
right,
boards and your local government, because to see how money is spent that comes from the national government. Just stay informed and get involved because it's extremely important. And that's globally. That's globally.
it,
So we can
it
move on to the
definitely
next
is
thing, though.
globally.
Golden, if you've
And
finished.
yeah, of course. Let's move on to the next topic, y'all. Like I said, check out the I've Had It podcast and the iHip News Network with Jennifer Welch and her lovely, lovely co-host that is AKA Pumps. They are hilarious. They give us life, but they also bring us the truth and tell us, and break down politics in a way that's like, they keep it all the way 100 and real. And so we're going to go ahead and get into our next topic, y'all. There was only about 6 minutes left of that coverage, but Imani broke that down real well. So let's move forward. So now this is another, serious one. We're taking y'all kind of on a political roller coaster today, just to kind of keep things fresh. So some of the things will be heart-wrenching and they will be deep and serious and very emotionally triggering. Some of the things are things we can kind of laugh at, that unfortunately are happening in a space that is very serious and it should not be comical. But sometimes we have to laugh to keep from crying, right? That's life, unfortunately. So yeah, let's go ahead and get to the next one. So moving on, we're going to be listening to a little bit from Dr. Rashad Richey. And what he will be speaking on is how the judge, one of the judges, has been removed from the Karmelo Anthony case and pushed for a new trial. So, in a major procedural development covered on Undisputable with Dr. Rashad Richey, the presiding judge in the Karmelo Anthony's trial has been formally disqualified due to allegations of bias and judicial misconduct. Anthony's defense team is using this ruling as the primary foundation to petition for an immediate new trial. So I'm going to go ahead and pop this up real quick. Y'all, child, look at me talking like Jennifer. I like when she say that. Let me pop this up real quick. So let's go ahead and pop this up. And we're going to watch it together, y'all. And we'll meet y'all in the chat. And then we'll stop in between for some commentary break. This one is a lot shorter. It's about 12 minutes total. So we do a first 6 minutes commentary, last 6 minutes commentary. But we will meet y'all in the chat as we watch together. Do you have a few things you want to add, Imani, before we get started? Or you want to just jump right in?
Let's jump right in. We've got to let the people go early. It's Friday.
Friday. Move out the way. Move out the way. Anyway, okay, let's go.
A new judge has been assigned in the Karmelo Anthony case. Put it up full mass. As you recall, we provided coverage to this story where a young African-American male acting under the pretext of self-defense, according to his defense attorney, was convicted of murder. The 17-year-old, now Judge Roach, who presided over the Texas teenager's murder conviction, was removed on Wednesday ahead of a key hearing to decide whether to grant a retrial in the fatal stabbing of a 17-year-old athlete at a high school track meet. Jurors this summer had rejected Anthony's claims of self-defense during a confrontation with Metcalf at a stadium by the bleachers last year. Anthony did not testify during the trial. Other students who took the stand described the heated exchange over Anthony's refusal on a rainy day to leave a tent that, according to prosecutors, belonged to Metcalf's team. The case attracted national attention, as you know, in part because of a flood of social media posts that amplified the killing in racial terms. Anthony is black. Metcalf is white. Lawyers on both sides, however, told jurors the tragedy had nothing to do with race. Anthony's legal team has argued that a retrial is needed, in part because Judge Roach enforced strict courtroom rules that they say limited the public's access to the proceedings. They also zeroed in on comments that Roach gave to a Dallas television station after the trial ended. The interview at the center of Wednesday's hearing came days after Anthony was convicted by a jury that had no black jury members. That was June 9th. During the interview, the judge described Anthony as a, quote, nice young man who committed a crime, end quote, and said Anthony now, quote, understands today more than any day, before today, the consequences of committing a crime as he did, end quote. Another quote, as long as I follow the law, I sleep well at night, end quote. The judge told WFAA in the interview, which was played as Wednesday's hearing began. Judge Roach was asked if the jury got it right. Quote, yeah, they did, end quote, Roach said, adding, quote, whatever they say, they got it right, end quote. During the interview, the judge also defended his courtroom rules and spoke about the onslaught of online postings about the case. Roach also defended his conduct during the trial and the restrictions he placed on the proceedings, including not allowing cameras inside of the courtroom. Anthony's attorneys have argued that the restrictions violated Anthony's constitutional right to a public trial. Quote, I know I made people mad, but I'm not here to make them happy, Roach said. Anthony's attorneys argued those public comments were enough to require Roach's recusal. All right, so let's make this as plain as possible. When you're on trial, you have a few rights, obviously. You have the right to address accusations made. You have a right to interrogate witnesses that are against you. This is how it is set in a trial. Your attorneys would do the interrogation, but these are your rights that they are expressing on your behalf. You also have a right to a trial of your peers. You have a right to present evidence on your behalf. You have a right to the trial being publicly scrutinized so that judges and courtrooms do not start to privatize justice. You have these rights in a public and transparent way every time. Now, this judge decided to restrict some of those said rights, especially the right of public scrutiny, which comes by way of media. The media, they have to file a particular requirement in order to get access to the courts. This is common. It's a protocol that we all follow. This judge decided to disallow that protocol, which, by the way, the protocol exists as a right of the defendant.
All right, so we're going to go ahead and stop it right there and do a quick little commentary break. So, Imani, what do you think about what we've heard so far? You want to go ahead and get into that so we can move forward? Because I see that we're kind of running a little bit over in time, so I'm going to try to move through all of this as fast as I can.
Can you go before me? I've just got to literally send a message to someone. If you can do it, if you can go first, I'm just trying to send a message to someone who's just messaged me.
Right. No problem. Yeah. With the Karmelo Anthony case, y'all, if you're not familiar, this is one that we also did cover on our platform a few lives back. And this is another young African-American or black young boy that had got hemmed up in a situation at a track. Oh, child, was thunderstorming now. That's why the videos and stuff must be going in and out because the storm is getting interruption with the feed. I was wondering what was going on. But anyway, so this is a young black man that got into, hemmed up in a case at a, track meet or whatnot, where supposedly he entered into, the opposing team's camp, and there happened to be, two Caucasian males there that he got into a altercation with. And one of the Caucasian males during the scuffle winded up unalived and via pokey way. And he immediately was deemed guilty. And once, they did his trial and it came to the end of his trial, he was giving a very significant amount of time that he would have to serve for this, situation. But after additional information has now been coming out as far as what really happened, there is speculation that, this judge was just fast and heavy to rule on the fact that he was guilty. He's a black boy. He unalived a white boy, and under the jail with you go, which is typically, how it works when it comes to black and brown people. And this is why it was such, a hot, well, not a hot topic, but an important topic that was being talked about in the news space, because this is literally a case that proves to us that there is a difference when it comes to, black and brown people and certain crimes or things like that that they feel as though have been committed. And when it comes to other races of people, we see someone like a Nolan Wells who, we literally have to go through hell and high water to get to the root of the justice and the truth of what happened. And when it comes to, Karmelo Anthony, because he was the one deemed to be the unaliver, automatically guilty. Yeah, you did it. Giving you this amount of time, and it's a very significant amount of time, but without the judge and the court allowing in all of the proper evidence, actually dismissing or not taking the time to even review a lot of the evidence that was, attached to this case. And so that is the correlation between a lot of these cases that, are going very heavily viral and public, for people to really see is, the hypocrisy and the difference, when it comes to a black and brown person, and they deem you to be guilty, and how fast the justice system moves along with that rollout, opposed to if there is another race of person that could possibly, and we can't be sure, and could possibly be guilty, but how many hoops get jumped through to actually prove that person's innocence before proving their guilt. When it comes to black and brown people, your guilt is almost, it's just to be inevitable, right? A lot of times in the judicial system, and the systems that we see. So automatically you're guilty. You did it, boom, off with you, and we're done and we're moving past it. But if it's possibly a Caucasian person that could possibly be guilty, there's a lot of hoops that get jumped through to prove their innocence, opposed to jumping on the bandwagon and already believing that the black individual is guilty. So anyway, that all happened. There is a lot of details or whatnot that are coming out now, and evidence and stuff that is coming out now to actually add to the case, to actually, show that this may not have gone down the way you thought it went down. Because he fits the part, because he's a black boy and a Caucasian boy lost his life, then you automatically think that he is guilty in his murder. But now the facts and evidence is coming out that actually it probably and most likely didn't go down the way they pushed it to go. And one of the heaviest people that were, responsible for that, of course, is the biggest one, the judge. The judge was very quick to, rush to a verdict, and, did not want to review or even receive a lot of the evidence that could add to the case and actually prove that this case was not just an open and shut. And the amount of time that this young man is serving, is something as well that the family is fighting against. So it's not just a case of the family saying, okay, something happened, and if, the child is, or our son is responsible, okay. But the level and the years of time that are supposed to be served, is very unjust and it's unfair. And there's been similar cases where young youth of other races have not been warranted that same amount of jail time or prison time for the same type of similar cases. But because it was a black youth, the judge just was like, yeah, you're guilty, you get this amount of time, wash my hands, moving on. So what do you think about that, Imani? Did I break that down, enough?
Yeah,
And like,
there was a couple of things really. I just wanted to add, um, he's he obviously he's been removed from further proceedings, and this is ahead of the defence's request for a new trial. We know why Anthony was convicted, and his defense was self-defense. However, I will say, in the summing up, because it's the jury that came to there was one thing we got to be clear about. It's the jury that came to the verdict, but there were some issues prior to getting to that stage. But the lawyers on both sides in their summing up said, even though Anthony's black and the victim was white, the lawyers on both sides told the jury the case was not about race, which I found interesting because I didn't see the summing up of the lawyers. The problem is how the trial was conducted. Uh, um, you know, particularly, the judge's behavior in that, and that there have been other accusations of misconduct by this judge, and so he has been removed prior to the defense requesting a new trial. But you know like it's the public commentary that he's made that has created concerns, whether he could as to whether he could have been impartial when he was also though his public commentary has made him be removed because, given the fact that he said the jury came to the right decision, how fair would it be for him to decide whether Anthony gets a fair trial if he already thinks the decision was right in the first place? The fact that he's made those public comments after the trial, which was very silly, really. I don't know why he would have thought that that was the right thing to do. If he's convinced that they came to the right decision, then he's never going to make that decision because the first request has to go to him before they appeal his decision. So that's why he's been removed, because he's public commentary after the fact, and that he couldn't be impartial. And also, they're looking at his previous disciplinary history, which was separate from Anthony's case. So, as well as his public comments, there's other disciplinary history that they're looking at. So and they also said he'd improperly used the prestige of his judicial office to advance his private interests. So it looks like it's misconduct in a public office. So these are other things outside of that he's being investigated for. So there's two things. One's his public comments after the fact. Could he actually make a fair decision to give a new trial? Second thing is other misconduct outside of this. So
Thank you,
probably
Imani.
best. Yeah,
And yeah,
yeah,
because those are the important, points that we need to really be making sure we're talking about, these cases as far as the severity of it all within the legal and the justice system, how things are being, addressed and how things are being manipulated. I mean, when we get down to the core of it. And so, yeah, that's a lot of the additional important details that's attached to this case as well. And as we can see moving forward, he has been now, taken off, and
yeah.
there is a new trial that is being warranted for the Carmelo Anthony case because it wasn't handled with the proper legal care from the beginning. So,
Yeah,
yeah.
and there was one other thing. Sorry, Golden. He didn't allow public audio access to the trial. That was another one of the issues that people had. So there was, normally, even if you don't have the cameras in court, in some courts you can have the you can have the audio, and people can hear the audio from what was said. And he didn't allow public audio access to that trial as well, which was another issue for
Red
people.
flag. I mean, to me, it's a huge red flag. To me, like
Yeah, yeah.
anytime somebody wants to take something off of the table or hide something or decide that they're not going to allow it to be present when typically that is the norm,
Mm,
then that automatically seems like a red flag to me because what do you have to hide and why would you
mm,
go that
yeah.
route? So yeah, but you want to play the rest of this one, girl? It's not too much long, or do you want to just keep it pushing forward? And I
Let's
want
keep
my
it pushing
power to
forward. It's just to say that he hasn't. I just wanted to be clear. Anthony hasn't been granted a new trial yet. Uh,
no,
Judge
not yet.
Roach has,
They're fighting
yeah,
for it.
hey, yeah. Judge Roach has been removed, and a new judge, Michael Chitty, has been put in place. So the decision has not been made yet. And they also said the presiding judge said it wasn't that they deemed that he would automatically not be impartial. It was just that his public comments did not gave rise to the fact that there could easily be appeal based on that commentary. So they weren't saying that he was going to be unfair. He just made those comments, and they needed to make sure that they dotted the i's and crossed the t's and made sure that there was nothing that was appealable, or that it would be, even if they do appeal it, that it won't be because there is something that's obviously there up front for them to appeal.
Right,
Okay,
right.
so we
Okay.
can move forward. What are we doing next?
All right, let's go ahead and get into it because we're trying to push y'all right along here. We don't want to keep you too long. And if by ever reason I go out here today, and things cut off in the middle, it is a thunderstorm happening right now, where I live. So sometimes, a lot of times, the power will flash off and flash back on. So if that interrupts the
Did
live,
you?
y'all, I'm just giving y'all a quick update.
Sorry, did you tell the
Heads
people
up.
where to go and see the rest of the video? Did we give the details
Right. So
of the? Yeah.
the rest of the video is on Undisputable with Rashad Richey on his YouTube channel. Y'all can go and watch the rest of the video there on his platform. And if you want, I will put those links in my description box below when we get finished with the live. So yeah, we kind of moving kind of quickly, y'all. I'm sorry, but we try to be a little bit more detailed, but I'm just trying to get through all of these topics here, and especially because it's thunderstorming now, and I don't know if the power is going to flash off and flash back on. So, yes, but please check
Never
them
mind
out.
the thunderstorms. It's happy hour.
Child, the people trying to go out and have a drink. They're like, we don't want to be held up here listening to this. We ready to go turn up. We didn't had a
Hey,
long
dropping
week.
the tea.
Some fun. What's up, Dropping the Tea? Dropping the Tea did pop in. So now we're gonna go ahead and do our next topic. Let me tell y'all what it's going to be about. So none other than one of our favorites over here as well, Don Lemon and the Lemon Drops. They are having a conversation about systemic barriers in the legacy of Professor Jason Arday. So a reflective breakdown examined the systemic challenges, institutional gaps, and social pressures surrounding the path of the late Professor Jason Arday, one of the youngest Black professors in Cambridge University's history. The segment explores higher education representation, mental health support structures, and the unique weight carried by high achieving Black academics in elite institutional spaces. So before we get into that, Imani, do you have a few things you want to add, or you want to just jump right in?
Yeah, this was a really sad story, because even though there were questions of plagiarism on this guy, which started in about July, he literally was hounded until he unalived himself. 41 years old. Um, he was a professor at Cambridge. Yes, he was. He was autistic. He also had global delay. And the fact that nothing was proven, but yet again, social media, you know, out excels itself and the mainstream media. This man was hounded online with threats, including racist threats, and he unalived himself at the age of 41, which is really sad. But I listened to Don Lemon's breakdown, which I think is something that we all need to hear, because not that we're comparing, although there have been issues of people being bullied online and unaliving themselves before this date, but people need to be aware You do not know what people are going through. You do not know how they are taking the things that you're saying when you're running your reckless mouths and saying everything and anything to people you don't know, you know nothing about, but you have a big opinion, a really big opinion about. This can be the end result of endless bullying online. Now, some of us, not all of us, can take it, but it really depends on where you are emotionally as to whether you can take it or not. Because, to be honest with you, a few years ago, in fact, quite a few years ago, if some of you were running your mouths like the broken toilets that they are, I would have got in my car.
Your sound went out, Imani. Hold on. You may have to drop down and come back up because your sound went out. And I don't know if it's because of the storm here or whatever, manipulation with the thing, but I can't hear you. Hold on. Let me tell you very quick. Hold on. Can't hear you, babe. Sound went out.
Story a few days ago. And since then, I have been thinking a lot about Jason Arday. I've been thinking about his rise, the controversy that engulfed him, and ultimately his tragic death. There's no doubt that he had questions to answer. There were serious allegations of plagiarism and questions about his academic work, as well as parts of his life story that helped propel him into the public spotlight. As a journalist, I'm going to be the first one to say this, that those questions were legitimate. But here's what concerns me and what I've been trying to figure out. When did scrutiny become a blood sport? Because somewhere along the way, this stopped being simply about his academic record. The evidence is there. Just look at the reports. His intelligence, his disability, his childhood, his achievements, his entire life story was suddenly put on trial. And that's where I think we need to have a much more difficult and serious conversation. Because accountability matters, right? I agree with that. However, the press coverage became a public dismantling of who he was. His PhD wasn't enough. His career wasn't enough. His childhood was examined. His disability story of autism and global development disorder were questioned. His achievements were picked apart. His credibility was shredded in public. And day after day, the pile on grew and grew and grew. So let me just say this very plainly. When Black people say that they are angry about what happened, they have every right to be. And I suspect that some of the right-wing pundits and sections of the media talking about Jason Arday will never fully understand why that anger runs so deep. Because for many of us, this isn't simply about one man. It's about a pattern that we have seen before. It's about a Black man who reaches one of the most prestigious institutions in the world. He becomes Cambridge's youngest Black professor. His story is celebrated across the pond and even here in the US. Then serious questions emerge about his academic record. Fine. Investigate them. If he plagiarized or embellished his resume, establish the facts. If Cambridge failed in its vetting, ask Cambridge some damn questions too. Maybe you should think about putting them on blast. But what many of Jason's friends and loved ones witnessed wasn't simply scrutiny of an academic record. They watched his very right to have reached Cambridge in the first place put on trial. And that is where this becomes bigger than plagiarism, because some of the commentary around Jason appeared to fit perfectly into an existing political narrative. That diversity has gone too far, that standards have been lowered, that Black people are being handed positions that they haven't earned, that somehow Jason's controversy proves something about diversity itself. Sound familiar, Trump administration? But it didn't prove something about diversity itself. It did not. If one professor did something wrong, then investigate that person. But don't put an entire generation of Black people, Black academics in the same bucket with Jason Arday. And here's another thing. Where was the intense scrutiny of the institution itself? Where? Don't forget that Cambridge hired him. Cambridge examined his credentials. Cambridge appointed him. Cambridge put its name behind him. So if Jason's record contained problems serious enough to justify this level of outrage, then surely somebody should be asking, how did one of the world's greatest universities miss it?
Okay, look, I like French fries, I like bread, and I'm not going to go through life pretending I'm never going to eat a burger and fries, all right? But I can live without the moment 30 minutes after a great meal when your stomach says, you really thought all of that was a good.
Because they have watched institutions celebrate Black excellence when it is convenient, but when controversy arrives, suddenly the individual can find themselves standing very much alone. And now Jason Arday is dead. He leaves behind a wife and 2 young children. His family says that they watched his life collapse in real time, blaming what they describe as a campaign of harassment by sections of the media. And now the headlines will fade. The cameras will disappear. The right-wing commentators will find somebody else to talk about. Social media will find somebody else to tear apart. And then everybody will move on to the next scandal. So there wasn't a human being underneath all of this. And maybe that is the lesson Jason Arday's death should force us to confront. Because somewhere along the way, we have created an entire culture that doesn't just want people held accountable anymore. We want humiliation. We want the downfall. We want the viral clip. And now some members of the media are questioning their coverage, the level of coverage it got, and what that means to an individual. Watch.
Massively believe in a free press. I genuinely feel a sense of tremendous pride as a columnist, you know, kind of like a really trivial part of the output with the investigative journalism where we expose the wrongdoing, Farage and Trump. It's incredible what we do. It's so important. But every now and again, I'll just caution, if I may, think about the person at the center of it, particularly if it's a vulnerable person who's not used to the spotlight, not a politician. Run the story, but take account of the fact you're in a bigger media ecosystem, and maybe one has to recognize that human side of it too.
Good point. But maybe that should have been thought about sooner. Here's the thing. Jason Arday had questions to answer, but he's not here anymore. So perhaps the questions really belong to us. When did we become so comfortable with publicly destroying people? Is that okay? What does that say about us? And when did the hashtag stop trending? When the hashtag stopped trending, the outrage merchants find their next target. Who takes responsibility for the lives that have been ruined? Because this, I will tell you, this is no longer just about Jason Arday. It is about us. It is about a culture that we have created and we have allowed to flourish, whether it's social media, whether it's traditional old school corporate media, whether it is streaming, whether it is whatever form of media it is. When did we become so comfortable? When did this become okay? A culture that builds people up, waits for them to fall, but maybe the ugliest part isn't that people fall. It's how much we seem to enjoy watching them hit the ground. Thanks for watching, everybody. I appreciate you. Make sure you like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you don't miss anything. We're live.
All right, y'all. So the story
Getting rough.
That
Imani, I'm gonna let you go ahead and go first. It's later there for you
was
than for me.
very
We're
sad.
putting some helplines in the
Can
chat
you hear
while.
me?
Yeah, can you hear me? Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me? Oh God, the storm. I can't hear you. All right, she'll be back. So we're putting some of the helplines or whatnot in the chat as well. When it comes to situations and cases like this, there is help and resources out there. A lot of people, for a lot of different reasons, may feel as though things have gotten too hard and they can't continue to go on, and they may make decisions that are final. And you know what that means: suicide. And so this is a case that we were talking about and bringing to the platform of a professor that was pushed very much to the edge due to a lot of societal, things being said, being done, and being put on him that wasn't true. And he could not handle it. And, he took himself out. And so, Imani, you want to go ahead while I continue to post these links? Because, child, it is coming down here bad. So I want to go ahead and
Yeah,
get
we're gonna have to cut this one short, but we're gonna come back and do a part two tomorrow morning because we did have some other stuff to
yeah.
report on, and we'll finish this up early tomorrow before the fun starts. Um, Basically, yeah, very sad story because a lot of the story they don't even know which parts of the story or the questions that were on him or about plagiarism were true or not. His childhood was examined and it was true. His disability story was questioned and it was true. His achievements were picked apart. His credibility was publicly challenged. And it it was eventually about his whole life, not just simply the allegations of plagiarism. That his whole life was under question. This person with autism, who had become the youngest professor at Cambridge, black professor at Cambridge, and it's it's an uncomfortable conversation, yeah, because if there was plagiarism, yeah, then investigate it, establish facts. If his academic work didn't meet the required standards, examine that. But to go and pick apart his whole life, yeah, especially where was the scrutiny on Cambridge? Because they hired him, they examined his credentials to be a professor, they appointed him, and they publicly celebrated all his achievements. So if there were serious problems, that should have been identified way before he got appointed. And if they made that appointment, then there are questions that they need to answer. And a really big part of this discussion is about race because it he was Cambridge's youngest black professor, and that represented something that was much bigger to many people. And that is why a lot of people are outraged. Um, a lot of people are angry because he's now not here and he left a wife and children. It doesn't mean the media automatically caused his death, but they played a big part. They played a part because it was relentless. Like some of these people are relentless on all these social media platforms, not just this platform, all on social media, thinking that they know everything. They question the whole of this man's life. This man had autism. This man achieved heights that would not have been achievable 20 years ago. And, you know, we need to look at this. This needs to be examined. This really does need to be examined about questions on, you know, regulation of these things, and you know, where it's needed, taking action. Because this isn't just about Jason Arday. This is about behavior that is getting out of control on social media. And it needs to be checked and regulated along the line, because otherwise we're going to see more issues like this. This is not the first time people have been bullied online. And if they don't start to do something about it, it's not going to be the last. So I think it's extremely important that we have this discussion. You know, everybody wants to have a pile-on, you know, when someone's the villain. You know, it's like it's you know, it's like accountability is entertainment for people. Dogpiling is entertainment, but there's a person behind all this stuff. There's a family behind all of this stuff. You don't know what people are going through. You don't know how they're receiving this. And a 41-year-old man is now not with us. A brilliant 41-year-old man is now not with us. Someone who achieved the greatest heights. That is the prestige university, Oxford and Cambridge. And he's not with us. And people were questioning whether or not he had global delay. Why weren't they questioning Cambridge? That's a top university. They hired and appointed him. Surely there are ways to check plagiarism quite easily with all the tools that are available before you appoint someone. That should be the standard. But anyway, rest in peace to Jason Arday, and prayers go out to his family. That's all I've got for that, Golden.
Okay, thank you so much, Imani. You know, you always speak so very well, and you really come with the facts, you know, behind each and every one of these topics and cases. And I know a lot of times it can be very strenuous to do because it does pull on the heartstrings. And I know we talk about this behind the scenes. And to think that this is an individual that did have autism, but went on, despite the fact of having autism, to really accomplish some really great things and be in a position, you know, that a lot of people may not think that someone like that would be worthy to be in. But that's what we're learning. Just despite the fact that you have a neurodivergence type of diagnosis or issue, doesn't mean that you can't go on in life to achieve and do great things. And the fact that you may be in that position and you fight tooth and nail to hold that position and get through the door, while having something that a lot of people will feel as though doesn't make you qualified to be there, and then question, you know, your authenticity and the position that you hold, can be enough to push you over the edge. It can be enough to push someone over the edge that may not be autistic, but to think this person being pushed over the edge for things like that, in addition, having autism and accomplishing all of the things that probably society and the world thought that he could never do. And now he's no longer with us. And such a great person that he probably was, and professional that he was in the position that he held. When enough being enough is, you know, happening to someone, you just never know whether they have the strength to hold on and keep pushing, or whether they want to throw in the towel. And that's why I just feel like we do have to be better to one another. We have to be more loving and more caring and more empathetic and more supportive to one another, because you just never know what may be the things that you do and you say, and the outcomes those things have over your life, that make you feel as though you have had too much and it pushes you over the edge. And now we have yet another beautiful vessel that is not here with us because of that. And this is why we talk so heavily about, this internet bullying and, this nasty work that we are towards each other sometimes. And when I say we, I say that because I am not pointing the finger at anybody, because I know that there's times where I've been nasty work. And I don't know the person on the other side of that, how close to the edge they may be. Something that I may say or some type of argument I may have with them may be just the thing to push them over the something I'm laughing at or laughing about when it comes towards them might be something that pushed them over the edge. And I feel as though a lot of us are moving and gravitating to a place where we see how dangerous this can be, because there's so many cases and stories we have to report on where that is the case. We just aren't kind to one another, and we have to do better. And so, yeah, that was a very heart-wrenching story, and especially due to the fact that there are a lot of people out here that have autism. And, I talk very closely with some people around me, and they're, children out here that have autism. And it's not to say that that stops you. That stops you in your tracks and you can't ever accomplish anything or achieve anything. These people are just people, and you never know. You can power through anything that you're struggling with and still be able to accomplish great things. You can always come out on the other end of the tunnel in the light. And so, that story did really touch my heart. And you really gave us all of the great facts and details about that, Imani, like you always do, girl. So thank you so much. I appreciate that. The rain is slowing down, but we have held y'all too long. And it is Friday. So everybody's got to get out there and get their weekend kicked off. We thank y'all so much for coming to join us and spend time with us like you do. We really appreciate it. Each and every one of you. Daisy, oh yes, exactly, Daisy. Prayers to the family. And Star, Star is up in here. And so many great people was up in here earlier. And it's okay if y'all had to leave out and listen from the bushes, or get your weekend started or get some things done. We appreciate y'all for coming in whatever's time it is that you do take out of your day to come and spend with us. And so, yeah, that's all we have. We did cut it a little bit short. We had 2 more topics, but we'll come back and we'll cover those. But yeah, Imani, I know it's later for you there. So you got a few final thoughts you want to give before we get up out of here?
Yeah, I mean, we can talk about difficult things without allowing difficult things to consume us. And today we've talked about justice, accountability, politics, the economy, weird crushes, mental health, relationships, and the way we treat one another. And these subjects may look completely different, but there's a thread running through all of them. Our humanity matters. We can demand accountability without being cruel. We can disagree without trying to destroy people. We can ask hard questions without pretending to know every answer. And we can stand firmly for what we believe in while still remembering there's a human being on the other side of that screen. We also have to remember, and I think a lot of people forget, that we're allowed to grow and we're allowed to evolve. And sometimes the person that somebody remembers you being isn't the person you're becoming. So stop being frightened of other people's growth. Let them grow, let them go, and let them grow. And no means no. No. Anyway, and don't allow the internet to convince you that every disagreement requires a war, that when you're like in your senior, years, that you've got ops. Because believe you me, if you had real ops, you would know about it. And every criticism doesn't require you to retaliate or run your mouth like a broken toilet and keep talking recklessly on any platform about everybody's business that is not yours. Sorry. Anyway, I digress. Because life is too short, as we've seen with the case of Jason Arday. And there are real battles happening out there. There are families that are grieving. There are young people that are losing their lives. People are struggling financially, and some people are struggling quietly without telling anyone with their mental health. There are people fighting for justice who would give anything just to have their loved ones sitting beside them. So perspective matters. Protect your peace, as I always say. Don't lose your compassion. Protect your boundaries, but don't lose your humanity. Speak your truth, but don't become addicted to conflict. And when you have the opportunity to lift somebody instead of tearing them down, choose to lift them, because these platforms can disappear tomorrow. The topics and the trending topics can disappear, the arguments can disappear, and today's viral moment will eventually become yesterday's forgotten conversation. But just remember, how we treated people can stay with them for a lifetime. So just love your families, check on your loved one, check on your friends. Maybe that person you've been meaning to call, pick up the phone and call them or pop round and see them, because tomorrow does give us another opportunity to do better, love better, and communicate better. But some people may not see tomorrow and it may be too late. But always remember, protect your peace, and we're way, 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 way too blessed to be stressed. Thank you for joining. Love you guys. Thank you for all your support, and thank you for sticking with us. And have a wonderful weekend, everyone. And that's it for me.
So beautiful, Imani. You always leave such the beautiful messages at the end. I really love that. And we mean each and every word that we say. And I always can concur with what Imani is saying, because we literally on the same page. And we know a lot of y'all out there are as well. And this is what we're working towards and we're fighting towards. And child, I'm telling you, sometimes it is a fight, but we are going to see that brighter light and that better tomorrow that we desire to see, not just for ourselves, but for the world. And so, yeah, I will go ahead and give y'all just a little bit short of my closing message here, and then we'll end it with a few bops per usual. But again, thank you all so much for coming and taking out pieces of time from your day, this beautiful Friday, to come and spend with us. It means a lot. Your support means a lot and will never go unnoticed. And we have to remember that support is a revolving door. We support and uplift one another. And so, yeah, thank y'all for tuning in and spending time with us. We love it. We love it. We love it. But I want y'all to always remember, and this is something I'm trying to remember and teach myself as well, to stay grounded, stay fully informed, and walk through life with purpose and integrity. In a digital world filled with constant noise, manufactured drama, and bad faith distractions, protecting your peace and keeping your focus on what truly matters is what is essential. Never let petty tactics or cruelty sidetrack you from your personal growth, your truth, and your goals. Keep your circle strong, uplift those who are standing up for real justice, and always hold yourself and others to a standard of mutual respect. Stand tall, keep your head held high, and continue seeking the truth. We will see y'all back here tomorrow on our next live. We'll do something a little bit fun this weekend, y'all. Kick it and chill and just let our hair down. But everybody, have a wonderful weekend. If we do not hear from you while you out there enjoying and living your best life, we will see y'all on the next one. And child, y'all know I'll be taking my trips. I might see you around sooner than later. But anyway, everyone have a wonderful Friday, afternoon, morning, evening, or night. Have a wonderful weekend. Be blessed. And yeah, we'll talk to you on the next one. So this is Golden, Imani, and of course, Mama Word in the background. And we are out, y'all. Bye.
Serum that got people forgetting the folks is human. That part. Every laugh ain't harmless. Every post ain't just jokes. Some people smiling online, crying in real life. Enough is enough. Enough is enough. Why you tearing people down for fun? Why? You don't know what they carry when the camera done. Broken souls throw stones, then hide they hands. Cowards in comment sections playing God again. Karma don't miss. Karma don't miss. And healing's still possible too. So either spread love or watch life humble you. Yeah. YouTube streets messy, everybody got a target. Creators throwing dirt like hate became a market. Mocking people daily, that spirit look haunted. Tell me who raised y'all, this behavior garbage. Laughing at depression, exposing folks' trauma. Then next shock when tragedy follow behind you. The evil energy, boomerang proper. Come on, pull up silent like a midnight robber. And honestly, do you watch my live? I talk truth, pain, growth, tears, real vibes. Not everybody built for the games online. Some folks want insult from losing their mind. That's fake, no cap. Y'all did the humiliation. Every live stream feel like public execution. Views over souls, cloud over humans. Then wonder why the whole world mentally ruined. Somebody mama crying at night. Somebody daughter hurt inside. Somebody praying not to give up while bullets screenshot painful life. Shame on you, shame. You need healing too. Only damaged people wake up daily, trying to damage others too. Enough is enough. Why you tearing people down for fun? Tearing them down. You don't know what they fighting when the live stream done. Enough. Keyboard killers acting tough online. Whole time spiritually broken inside. Karma don't miss, no. Karma don't skip souls either. Every hateful seed gon' meet the reaper. So to the hurt and bully people, listen close. You matter more than these demons online. These chicks bitter, these dudes weird. Obsessed every day, like why you still here? Refreshing my page while pretending you don't care. Whole personality built off hate and fear. Talk slick online, real life timid. Broken inside, everybody can't feel it. Projecting their wounds while the comments all cheering. That ain't straight, baby, that sickness concealed. And I said what I said. Yeah, some of these creators need therapy bad. Not another live stream drag. Not another fake outrage cash grab scam. Y'all bully for a living, that's sad. Spirit look bankrupt, dusty and mad. And the people encouraging it just is trash. Laugh now, karma got a long memory pad. Lord, cover the wounded, cover the lonely heart, cover the lonely heart, cover the people crying silently in dark rooms. Teach us compassion again. Teach this world mercy again. Because words cut deep, so deep. And some people never recover. To everybody bullied online, you are not weak because you hurt. You are not crazy because you feel pain. And don't let these empty souls convince you your life got no value. The loudest bullies usually fighting demons they never healed from. That ain't an excuse, but it's the truth. And to the bullies, get help, seriously. This obsession will tear his strangers apart every day. That ain't normal. Enough is enough. We need love more than ever now. More than ever. Too many souls out here barely hanging on somehow. No more glorifying painful views. No more clowning her forever new. No more mob attacks for entertainment. That darkness got consequences too. Karma don't miss. Karma don't miss. And healing's still possible too. So either spread love or watch life humble you. Enough is enough. Spread love before it's too late. Yeah, before it's too late. Yeah. Listen. Can you feel it? Something shifted. The air don't feel the same. Too many masks falling. Too many truths walking in the daylight. Justice being patient. Now she's knocking at every door. Let's go! It's over! It's over, yeah, it's over. What's hidden always finds the sunlight. What's planted in darkness always grows toward the light. Yeah. It's over! The tide done turned. The whole world finally starting to discern. We cried, we built, we stood, we healed. Now look at what refusing to quit revealed. It's over. Funny how silence got louder than the lies. Funny how fake smiles couldn't survive real eyes. Everybody wanted power, nobody wanted truth. Now accountability walking in expensive boots. Used to laugh, used to mock, used to throw stones. Now everybody scrambling, trying to protect thrones. See, light don't argue, it just shines. Truth don't rush, it arrives on time. Receipts don't disappear, energy don't lie. Everything eventually meets the most high. No shortcuts, no cheating, no editing history. What's done in the shadows always becomes somebody's testimony. Can you feel that? The atmosphere changing. People protecting peace instead of entertaining. Healing replacing hate, purpose replacing fame. The culture waking up, nothing feeling the same. It's over. No more pretending. It's over. A new beginning. Too bright, can't dim that light. Justice showed up, now everything's sitting right. It's over. The season changed, the energy rearranged. One chapter closed, another one raised. It's over. From neighborhoods to timelines, from classrooms to front lines, people standing taller, speaking with intention, learning every platform carries real consequences. Less tearing people down, more lifting people up, less chasing empty cloud, more building real trust. Every grandmother praying, every father staying, every child dreaming, every voice saying enough hiding, enough dividing, enough pretending everything alright when people die. And the next generation watching every move we make, let's leave them something stronger than another fake debate. Hey, 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 hey. Who we are? The truth. What we want. Victory lap, it's a healing march. Everybody carrying visible and invisible scars. Some lost family, some lost hope. Some almost gave up, barely stayed afloat. But look now, the sun's still rising. The future looking brighter, the vision getting wider. Real ones never folded, never sold they soul. Stay 10 toes while the pressure made them gold. Now respect, sounding louder than gossip. Character worth more than popularity. Integrity becoming the new luxury. That's the flame. No revenge. They counted us out, but they never counted on the truth. The world changing. One voice, one family, one act of courage at a time. Golden Queen. This ain't the ending, it's the beginning. It's over. It's over. It's over. It's over. It's over. It's over. I done cried enough tears. I done explained myself enough. I done carried people who wouldn't carry me. But today,
I'm putting this mess down. I choose peace. I choose me. I've been walking through the fire with my head held high. Had to learn some people only love you when you compromise. Gave my heart, gave my trust, gave chances by the score. Then I looked inside myself and said, I can't do this anymore. I learned the hard way, everybody ain't your friend. Some come smiling at the beginning just to hurt you in the end. But every scar became a lesson, every loss became a flame. And the woman looking back at me will never be the same. Never again, I said never, you hear me? I don't need another argument, I don't need another sleepless night. I don't need somebody else's chaos coming into my life. I survived too much to surrender. I fought too hard to fall. So if peace is standing at my doorway, I'm opening it up. No more drama. I'm putting all that mess behind me. No more drama. Ain't nobody coming here to blind me. No more tears running down my face. No more running in the same old place. I've got my soul, I've got my faith, and I'm taking back my life today. No more, no more, no more, no more, never again. No more drama. I'm choosing peace over pain. Boom, boom, boom. Let it knock. Don't call my phone with your foolishness. Don't bring your storm to my front door. I've already survived the things I swore I couldn't survive before. You can keep the manipulation, keep the gossip, keep the games, keep the fake apologies that never come with change. And I'm not bitter, I'm away, I'm not cold, I've learned my worth. And everything that tried to break me only showed me what I'm worth. That's right, know your worth. Stand up, walk away. Peace ain't weakness, peace is power. I don't owe you my attention, I don't owe you one more tear, I don't owe you an explanation for protecting myself this year. I got boundaries now, I got standards now, I got wisdom in my heart. And anybody bringing chaos, baby, you don't get a start. I'm putting all that mess behind me. No more drama. Ain't nobody coming here to blind me. No more tears running down my face. No more giving everybody my grace. I got my soul, I got my faith, and I'm taking back my life today. No more pain, no more games. I'm breaking every chain. Lord, I made it through the midnight, made it through the rain, made it through the people tried to make me feel ashamed. You know every battle, you know every scar, you know how many times I had to find myself in the dark. But I'm still here, still standing, still breathing. And if I made it this far, there must be something greater waiting for me. Something greater. So I release what I cannot change. Let it go. I forgive what I cannot fix. Let it go. Let it go. And I refuse to carry what was never mine to carry. Let it go. No more drama. You can't disturb my peace. No more drama. The chains are finally released. No more crying through the night time. No more fear when morning comes. No more letting broken people tell me who I gotta become. I know who I am. I know who I am. I survived the fire. I walked through the storm. I lost some people, but I found myself. I found myself. Tell 'em I ain't going back. Not today, not tomorrow, not ever. Not ever, not ever, not ever, not ever. Who owns my feet? I do. Who owns my future? I do. Who decides my worth? I do. Who gets to walk through this door? I do. Give me what are we leaving behind? No more, no more, no more, no more, no more. I got peace, I got purpose, I got faith, and baby, I got my life back. Home, peace is expensive.
paid for mine. No more. Drama. They don't know her like I do. Nah. Golden. She moved through the city with her hair held high. Pretty brown skin with a storm inside. Everybody see the glow, they don't know the pressure. Smile so warm, but her heart no weather. Late nights riding while the skyline blur. Trying not to cry when the memories occurred. Had to learn fast, everybody ain't loyal. Some people love you long as they control you. Now she move careful, energy expensive. Too many fake vibes hiding in the friendship. Used to give love with her hands wide open. Now every scar got the whole vibe frozen. They don't know her like I. No, they don't know. She goes by golden, soft voice, deep soul, hope or glowing. She goes by golden. City lights dancing with her heart stay open. Long dark roads, but she still stay focused. Everybody watching, but they don't really know her. Too much grace with the games they throwing. Real love, rare, so spirits they guarded. Beautiful soul, but the pain left marks in it. Mirror tell the truth when the lights go dim. All the things she carry weight heavy within. She survived nights she don't even speak on. Still finding peace while the whole world ain't wrong. Funny how the love disappear when you're healing. Funny how the fate come around when you win. Now she trusts God more than people intend. Just cause smiles hot and being hidden the deep. She's still soft-hearted but she way less naive. Can't keep pouring love where there's nothing received. Still dancing slow through the hurt and confusion. Trying not to lose herself chasing illusions. She survived the fire. Still glowing through the smoke. Still still dangerous. Still chosen. She goes back golden. Slow so deep made the whole room notice. Heavy lies couldn't break what was chosen. Still standing tall while the whole world folding. She goes back golden. Heartbreak turned to pens in the matter. Now the tears got rhythm when she's singing. And they still don't know her like that. They still don't know her like that. Spend so much time looking for love in strangers. Spend so much time letting outside voices shake the mirror. But at the end of the night, when the lights fade, when the city cried, when the tears dried, we still got